I hope Swiper will be with us. I hope. I'm
You're not making any promises, Mars? Is that what you're trying to say?
He did say you can catch me on Player's Choice.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
He did say that last night, so we'll see.
I'm hopeful. Yeah. I'm hopeful he'll be here, but for now he's not. So before Swiper arrives, I'm gonna shout out to Definom for becoming a member and Kairos for becoming a member. Shout out to you guys. You can now chat with everyone else alongside our wonderful chat members like Laney and Alanar and Duke and Ronaldo and Marcus Jenkins, etc. But Alanar sent a super chat. Speaking about the Wolves game last night, which we are going to get into. For anyone who doesn't know, the Wolves beat the Denver Nuggets on the road in Game 7.
Terrible.
Largest game.
I told you, Jalen. Don't smile, Gifted. Don't smile. Don't smile.
Jalen lost some money on that series, I've heard. But
terrible.
I seen it was the largest halftime deficit overcome in a Game 7 in NBA history.
I was counting my money on halftime. I was counting at halftime.
I seen you in the chat. I seen you in the
chat. I have plans. And you know what's crazy? That American-Canadian conversion is crazy. I started.
I
know. Yeah.
Jalen, who did you lose money to last night?
Lost money to Early. Lost money to Ox. I lost money to a couple other guys. So in total, it was like 2,300 Canadian. Just stupid.
Putting faith in the wrong team, man. But I don't know. I said hot take. Rudy was the Wolves' second or third best player last night. L-Ox, L-Dub, and Mavs in 6, then Boston in 5. I don't think saying he was their second or third best player is a hot take. I think you could argue he was that best player. Especially in the second half.
Mars. Okay, I'm sorry. I need you to understand. First off, from the logo, we have been talking about the Wolves since the first round, and I don't want any revisionist history. I really, really do not. The Suns team that a lot of people overhyped that they thought could beat them because they were going to play Gobert off the court. They got swept. They played Denver. They say, okay, well, Denver is the real test, right? Denver wins 3 games in a row where they're shooting nearly 50, 40, 90. People said this Wolves offense is not legit. They can't win with Gobert. His DPOYs are fake. They were bringing up Anthony Davis like Jokic wasn't cooking him. And then in Game 6 and Game 7, you saw the Wolves respond and fight back. This wasn't something where it's fluky and it's fake shooting. Every Wolves player that needed to step up overall stepped up. Cat had his biggest game of his career last night in Game 7. We don't get to it, but I can't wait. I really cannot wait, bro.
It was a great game. Chill predicted the Wolves would win if the series got extended. That was something he was harping on for a while.
Oh, okay, Chill. Okay.
Jalen said the Nuggets might sweep the Wolves before the series.
That I did.
He was wrong. But I've stalled enough. Swiper is now with us backstage, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else who identifies as whatever. So I've done enough stalling. You're welcome. Welcome to the show, Swiper.
What's up, brother?
I've been peeping the timeline a little bit. So you've handled the loss very graciously.
Yeah.
I think you've handled it well. I seen Domo in your.
Are you hosting today?
Yes,
I am hosting today.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Real quick, Ron is not here. He wanted me to tell everybody that he's on a flight to Cancun where they said the Pacers would be.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's unfortunate that Ron's not here when the Pacers make the conference finals. The thing he's been saying
and damn near
the whole playoffs. So it's unfortunate.
Halliburton definitely showed up, yeah,
but he's definitely celebrating right now. I can guarantee.
You brought up a really interesting point, Mars, because you talk about me getting it right in terms of predicting. Before these playoffs started, you yourself said one of two things could happen with the Dallas Mavericks. They could get bounced in the first round, or they could end up
or go to the conference finals.
You said you were adamant about that. I didn't think that they could go that far, considering I wasn't sure what the matchups were going to be. I did love them against the Clippers because you know how I feel about the Clippers. I loved them against the Clippers. I thought that they got a good matchup with Oklahoma City. I feel like when you get a team, I think we misconstrue it a lot of times, Mars, where a team can be good, but they're just not there yet. And I feel like that's who Oklahoma City is. I feel like that's a damn good squad. I just don't feel like they're there yet. And I feel like that Dallas got the better of that matchup. So kudos to you for seeing Dallas ending up in the Western Conference Championship.
Yeah, thank you. I try. I mean, I was still rooting for OKC, and then we lost on a foul call. But other than that, it's fine.
A legit foul call, by the way.
Yeah, it was a foul. Yeah. I understand it was a foul. I'm not going to be like, oh, the refs cheated. They didn't.
That was a dumb challenge, though. I don't know why. Why is head coach challenge one time out?
10 seconds, you're probably going to challenge.
Yeah, you have to.
It's probably what you're going to do. But we'll get to the OKC Dallas
Yeah.
series. Swiper, what's your thoughts on the Denver Nuggets following the trajectory of all the other champions and losing before the conference finals?
Wow, yeah. Well, number one, shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, they took care of business. I think for them to be up 20 in the third quarter, and then for them to be able to close it out the way that they did, the Nuggets went on a 0-for-15 run in the third quarter. Jokic was playmaking at a high level, but they started clanking everything in the second half, and especially in that third quarter. The Nuggets scored 14 points in the third quarter, and that ultimately was the thing that decided the game. It was 67-66, I think, going into the fourth. And, at that point in time, it looked like the Nuggets had control, but everything kind of started spiraling when, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., just wide open three-pointers that they started missing. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, who didn't have a good offensive game at all, he played more defense on Jamal. And so I think what happened is that when Ant's able to play defense on Jamal, what changes is Jaden McDaniels is able to take that secondary matchup on Michael Porter Jr., and then they're able to limit the spacing they have on the DHOs on the three-point opportunities. So, Jokic was in the game, obviously, when they started losing the lead. He only scored 6 points in that run. He scored 21 points in the second half, and he scored 15 points in the fourth quarter on 50% shooting. But over the course of the game, Jokic and Murray had 69 points. The Nuggets only got 21 points from every other Nugget over the course of that game, which is kind of typical of Game 7s. It comes down to star shot making, at least on their end. For the Wolves, Ant was terrible. He was 6 of 24. But what happened is Karl Anthony Towns had 23 points, I think, on 8 of 14 shots. But the biggest difference, y'all, and the thing I kept speaking up for Rudy Gobert for a reason, Rudy Gobert defensively was incredible. Woo! And especially that block.
No, he wasn't, Swiper. He can't play. Get Rudy off the floor. He can't play.
He gonna get played off the court, chill. He gonna get played off the court, chill. Yeah.
Bro, once Rudy Gobert hit that fadeaway, I was like, all right, that's
fadeaway.
Yeah. So that fourth quarter, what changed is Rudy got the block on AG in the second half. The Nuggets were missing their outside shots. And so if you cannot counterbalance the interior force with outside shot making, then you're not going to be able to win. And so literally what happened is fourth quarter rolls around, and they started developing more rhythm. And then Naz Reid came in the game, and what he was able to do is just play with a lot of effort.
Outstanding in the fourth.
He had a bunch of fouls to give. And so at that point, it's just like, we're just going to try to hustle. And at that point, the offense got so bogged down because of the offense and because of the fact that the defense for the Wolves, they were just playing so sound. But again, it's just the small things. Like if Murray has Ant on him, well, Ant is not a great at chasing, but he's a good disruptor, and he got that steal on Jamal. But then what happens if Jaden's able to play off on MPJ, that just takes away another option for them to have as a release foul. But the Nuggets had wide open opportunities. They just couldn't convert. And in the fourth quarter, Anthony Edwards had 3 points. And so if you tell me that Anthony Edwards has 3 points in the fourth quarter and he's not shooting 50%, you win the game. The difference is Rudy Gobert. Again, Rudy Gobert got 3 straight foul calls at the top of the first quarter versus some mismatches down in the paint. And what it put them in the bonus with 9:50 left rest in the game. Rudy made all of his free throws. And on top of that turnaround that he had over Jokic, and some of this is just the way basketball works.
Eat it, Mars.
All love the sport.
Eat it, Mars.
All right, that left hand and one.
I love that fadeaway. I love that fadeaway.
I love that.
But that's just the way hoops work. Sometimes you just get momentum, and momentum carries you. And at that point when he made it, I was like, damn, it just might end up being their game. And again, if you're down 20 and you come back and then you get that lead, then you deserve the win. They were the better team yesterday, and they were the better team in the series. I'm of the mindset the best team always wins the series. I never go the other way with that. I think the Heat were better than the Bucks. I think they were better than the Celtics. You don't lose series in 7 games. And at least if you have everybody on the court healthy. But the obviously last year the Heat didn't have Tyler Hero the whole time. They still were able to beat people. So, this whole game was about, for me, the Wolves being able to flip the switch on defense. The Nuggets shot 4 of 21 from 3 in the second half. 4 of 21. Jokic and Murray were the only players for the Nuggets that scored for real the entire second half. And so once their offense became that limited, it's good as Christian Brown played in the first half, and he was spectacular defensively. Spectacular. And the thing the Nuggets did really well is that when they were blitzing Anthony Edwards, and y'all know this when you guard shooters, if you get them out of the rhythm, by the time you get to the third and the fourth, they can't hit those normal pull-up shots they would normally hit because the rhythm isn't there. Now, he got a corner three-pointer in the fourth quarter, but that was his only shot, and that was wide open in transition. they played really good defense. Mike Conley had that 3-pointer in the left corner as well. But really what changed the game is Rudy Gobert changing the foul calls in favor of Minnesota, them hitting Jaden McDaniels and Rudy. Jaden was 5 of 6 from the free throw line in the fourth quarter. Rudy made his free throws, and he made that turnaround. And then Naz Reid got that blow by and got the layup. And then Cat obviously got the dunk put back at the end of the game. The entire offense was bogged down for both teams. The problem is Minnesota, they were just able to make up for it at the free throw line, and the Nuggets were not able to do it because they just simply couldn't get to the rim. And by that point, Jokic started cooking finally. He was 0 of 8 from 3 to start the game off. He made his last 2 3-pointers, and they would get it 83, 85, and then all of a sudden, foul call. And they would get to the line and execute. But that's just offense. Like, you never take away from a team knowing it has an advantage, taking advantage of that advantage, and then doing what they're supposed to do. So ultimately, Joker, I think he slowed down in the third quarter, especially. I think some of that was just because of the offense change, because now it's like, well, they're not hitting their shots, but now you got to go into the paint. But then they were doing such a great job of preventing him for a while. And then by the time the fourth quarter comes around, he does get 15 points, 13 not excluding garbage time. But I just think that defensively, they just were not able to do what they have been doing the entire game. But again, NBA record points overcome in a game 7 before, and you did it in Denver against the defending champions and the 3-time MVP. You always deserve to win in those contexts. So, I mean, again, shout out Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniel. They're the reason why they won that game yesterday. You know, it became a superstar shootout. Anthony Edwards didn't show up to the party on that end, but his defense in the second half was important. Could allow for Jaden McDaniels to do his job. But on the other end, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, Reggie Jackson, 21 points between all of those players. But again, you're up 20. You got a chance to win. The momentum curtailed away. And we all thought, and then I was going to tweet this too, but when FanDuel put the line out in the third quarter on TNT and said that they were going to be a minus 12.5 the rest of the game, I said it doesn't even feel like a game where the Nuggets are going to win by 12 points. But it's just because the lead had proliferated to that point. But once he started missing those 3-pointers, it's like, all right, like, you know, this is a big moment for you. They get it down to 1. If the Nuggets were up 7-6 going into the fourth, I think they're able to win it. The problem is that now the momentum has switched over so completely to the other side. They kind of took the game apart as a whole. So, again, shout out Minnesota, best team on the series. They did their job.
I think my biggest takeaway from the series is, like, the idea of who Minnesota is as a team. I said this all regular season. Their defense is legitimate. For the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they were the top defense in the league. Rudy Gobert, for the majority of his prime, was winning DPOYs on teams that did not have a good defensive infrastructure. And when they were bounced out in the playoffs, what the narrative was is Rudy Gobert is going to get played off the court, when in reality, the majority of his teammates in Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan, they're getting crossed up so much that when they get a paint touch, Gobert has to commit. So they give up a open corner 3 to Terrence Mann. I watched that game like 20 times, right? When you get to this series, if I told you before the series started that Minnesota was going to win 3 road games at Denver, where they were going to hold Denver to under 100 points for 4 games in a 7-game series. If I told you that, it sounds like madness, but that's how legitimate their defense is. And Rudy Gobert, he deserves a ton of credit for that. But beyond that, Jaden McDaniels offensively is something a lot of people are not going to talk about.
The last 2 games, like 65% from the field gifted.
Back-to-back 20s, and more than that, his closeout, like the way he would catch the ball and attack the closeout. I said this in the Sun series. They had Kevin Durant on McDaniels, and every time he caught the ball, KD acted like he was a 0 offensive player, and Jaden would just drive by, score, or get fouled. And this is the biggest thing, right? The thing that people do not criticize enough about Gobert, for me at least, is not his defense. That's not the problem with Gobert. Offensively, he is an awful player at times, but the difference with this Wolves team is because of their size. When he catches the ball and forces foul because you have to quickly touch foul him, that gets the team in the bonus. So now Anthony Edwards can get to the free throw line. Now Karl-Anthony Towns can get to the free throw line. And that's a big part of why they were able to come back in that third quarter, right?
And also,
a huge part of
gifted. Jason Tim had talked about this all year, and I disagreed with him. By the way, Chill, I won this at an auction on Saturday night.
Picture, by the way.
and I ran into Mr. New Captain America at an event, and so
he didn't say nothing, right?
No, I didn't. I literally said I didn't say a word to him. Get it? I nodded and I just kept it moving. But chill, I literally thought of you. I won this in the auction. Thought of you. Figured you would like this. This is I want to say this is like
that's the 91 finals.
80, that's 91 finals from the 91 finals with Magic and with Mike.
Sure, that's a great picture.
It's cold. I love it. I love it. It was the first thing I saw. They had a Lawrence Taylor jersey signed. They had a Charles Barkley event. And then they had this, but I put all my money on this. But anyway, gifted.
Yeah,
bro. Mike Conley, man, huge in this series. And again, it's just the fact that he's a swing piece for them. Not even a scorer, not even a playmaker. His numbers are going to look spectacular, but the release valve that he allows for the Wolves to have on their offense is so important, because if he's not in this series, they get out in 6, maybe 5, I think, just because they need to have that presence on the court. But really, like I said, Chris Finch did an incredible job coaching in this series.
He deserves a lot of credit. Yeah,
deserves a lot of credit, especially dealing what they were dealing with. Nikhil was a non-factor for most of the series, and Chris Finch saw what he had to ride with. Najee was able to close it out defensively more than anything else as well. But I also want to say this: the Nuggets players did talk about this. We can talk narratives and all that stuff. But what they did note is that Jokic even said this team is specifically designed to beat us. And I did say going into the playoff, the team that would give the Nuggets the most opportunity and the most issues and had the best opportunity to beat them would be the Wolves.
It was no other team to beat but the Wolves.
I don't think anybody else was beating them in a 7-game series except for this team because of the way they're designed. But that's a credit to Tim Connolly. That's a credit to Rudy. And this is the first time Rudy has beaten Jokic in a series. And so he took it, all the narrative stuff aside, he really took it to Joker. Joker averaged 30, 11, and 8 in this series, but Rudy made it as difficult as possible for him to do that. But on the other end of this as well, I do think that Malone and Aaron Gordon, they've all talked about this, that like there's just this tremendous fatigue factor that they did feel over this year. They felt every game they were getting everybody.
I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that.
No. This is not. This is what I'm saying. Chill. If you want to talk narratives, then we can talk narrative. I'm just telling you what they said.
Sure.
So this what they communicated yesterday. They felt that they had just been completely exhausted the entire year because of just the quest to go back to back. I'm not saying anything about it. I didn't say anything about that while I lost.
Sure.
But they're just talking about this situation. But I'm in the same mindset. They're up 20. You're 20 at home in game 7. You're supposed to win that 10 times out of 10, and they weren't able to do it because their offense got bogged down. And Michael Malone also talked about that our offense is the key. If our offense gets bogged down, their defense suffers. And you've heard me talk about this, Chill, that their defense is connected to their productivity. And when they're playing really high-level defense, they're scoring on the other end because now they're setting you in a half court instead of letting you run across the board. So, going back to back, again, I said they were going to do it. Obviously, they weren't able to do it. The Nuggets were going into the season to do it. But they just know NBA players have specifically said that it's exhausting. It's why the Spurs never did it. And it takes a lot. It literally takes like generational talent in order to do it.
I mean, but that's the true test of a champion. Can you go back to back? Because it's one of the hardest things to do in basketball. And I really want to make sure that we highlight this, chat. Tim Connolly deserves a lot of credit because not only did he construct the Denver Nuggets, the fact that he left from that situation to construct another team to then beat the other team he constructed is wild. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
I think the fatigue thing, I think also has to do with the lack of bench that the Denver Nuggets had. Losing Bruce Brown, I think definitely hurt. Even a guy like Jeff Green, who I thought had big buckets for him last year. This year, that 100% hurt. And you saw it with the minutes. Jokic played all the minutes. Murray played all the minutes. And I mean, you guys mentioned too, MPJ was missing, except for one game. MPJ was missing this entire series. He had a phenomenal series.
Couldn't attack Mike Conley.
Yeah, 100%. He couldn't attack. But even the open 3-point looks, though, he just couldn't hit them. He just had I think
he took blame for the series yesterday too. He said he was on him. Yeah.
And 100%. No, I think that's great that he did that. But I just think, look, he was missing open shots. It happens, especially coming off, I think, a phenomenal shooting series against the Lakers. Maybe the law of averages kind of panned out, so it was due for regression. That definitely happened. I also think in the second half, though, Jamal Murray was making everything in the first half, tough shots, doing everything. Second half,
he was getting clamped in that third quarter, man.
He was getting clamped, but he was just doing a lot of dribbling with the ball, holding the ball. Even when he go around the pick and roll, he dribble, go to the kind of the bottom of the paint, come back around, and then there'd be like 8 seconds left in the shot clock. He give it to Jokic, and then it's just like you have 5-6 seconds left, and they really couldn't get to offense. So I thought Murray, a lot of dribbling going on, maybe could have fixed that. Jokic, definitely a rough 3-point shooting series. I think playoffs in general for him. He was clanking all game, like you mentioned. He made the last two, but a couple of those threes that if he could have made, I think could have definitely kind of stopped the momentum of some of the runs that Minnesota went in the comeback. So that was kind of a problem for them too. But it took Minnesota one. Anthony Edwards got away with one. If Denver closed out this game and Anthony Edwards played the way he did, we're having a whole different discussion about Anthony Edwards. And I understand people are going to say he kind of got doubled and all that. But look, if you're Anthony Edwards, a lot of the greats get doubled in situations like this. You have to find a way to get open. One, don't stop standing 3 feet above the 3-point line. Get close to the basket. Get Mike Conley, get your ball, and get to your move right away. Don't let the other team double team you.
Yeah, he waited too long sometimes.
Get to your move right away.
I agree with that.
Have the ball, attack the rim right away. Right. And also, don't pass the ball when you're double and just stand there. We talk about off-ball movement. He did nothing. Do something. Get open. Run around. Ask a teammate for a screen. Get yourself open. We'd be having totally different conversations. We started to have it. Anthony Edwards did not show up, and some of the weaknesses in his game was exposed.
I wouldn't say he didn't show up though. He absolutely showed up.
I mean,
in game 7.
He played, defense. Yeah, hold on.
But we don't give that pass to anybody though. We don't give that pass.
We're not giving that pass.
Yes, we do.
Well, I'm not saying.
No, we don't. Who gets that pass? Who gets a pass?
If you perform like that, we do give that credit.
100%. And the reason
who gets a pass for 6 or 24?
Carl Anthony Towns outplayed him.
2010 finals game.
I was just about to say, Mars.
Kobe got 24 free throws in that game.
And number one, it wasn't a pass. When you do other things, that makes you more important. The fact that if you
you wanted the ones that would bring up the 6 to 24 for any player in any generation.
That's not what I would do. In fact, in fact, what I was going to do is I was going to talk about how important he was when he did the other stuff. If he's just scoring and he's not, if he's just a bucket getter and he's not doing anything else, then absolutely that impacts him. But he did other things, like chasing Jamal Murray off screens, like not only getting in drop coverage, but recovering in drop coverage and making it hard on Jamal Murray. But to get back to a point that you made, Swipe, because I feel like you broke down the game. I feel like you broke down the game pretty eloquently. The difference is I didn't appreciate what Mike Malone said about this season. There's a reason I can't stand when I hear people say last season doesn't matter. This is where the belt is. There's a reason why you're on TV more. There's a reason why teams play harder against you, because you are the champs, and you have to be prepared for that. And you can't come in after you lose and say, wow, this thing was a lot harder than what we thought it was. This is what happens when you have the belt. Not only is this what happens when you have the belt, other teams have shown you in the past. This is why we have the belt, and this is why we are the champs. Whether we're back-to-back, whether we win it every other year, this is why we are the champs, because we're prepared for this sort of thing. Now, when you're talking about schemes, the Denver Nuggets, both Phoenix and Dallas, they both gave you the formula on how to beat the Denver Nuggets. And how do you do that? You jump Joker on the glass, because Aaron Gordon's not going to rebound. Not only is Aaron Gordon not going to rebound, Rudy did a great job in one, keeping him out of the dunker spot. That's number one.
Yes, he did.
He did a great job in keeping him out of the dunker spot. And two, he also did a great job in closing out on him when he was on the perimeter, which basically made him irrelevant. I'm not even talking about keeping him off the glass. That's how they were able to go on those 8-0 runs, 9-0 runs. Now, the difference, Swiper, is early on, like you talked about, Minnesota's offense has always been an issue this whole season. Not necessarily their action, because they get damn good action. It's them converting.
Surprising, which is why them coming back from 20 was such a big deal.
Well, that's the thing. It's not necessarily their action. It's more their conversion in their action. That's been the issue. But in this particular situation, what helped them was their defense was creating a lot of their offense. They got a lot of stuff in secondary breaks. They got a lot of stuff in transition, which helped them speed the game up. Because as good as they are defensively, they're not good enough where we go on an 8-0 run and then turn around and give up a 12-0 run to Denver. Even though this is a game of runs, we'll give up a 12-0 run to Denver. Offensively, we're not good enough because we don't have the conversion. So our staple is going to be our defense. So we have to hold these guys down. And how did they do that? I felt like they did a great job in finding Michael Porter Jr. in transition. The problem that the Lakers had with him, one, they didn't find him in transition. Two, they didn't have big enough defenders to defend against him. It's a lot less difficult for Michael Porter Jr. getting a shot off on Austin Reeves, who's 6'5", as opposed to Jaden McDaniels, who's got a hand in his face at 6'9". The rim doesn't look as big.
Chill. Do you think? Sorry, it was a delay on my side. Do you think that so Jamal averaged 18, 4, and 4 in this series?
Yep.
Do you think if you get it like if Jamal is like? Do you think it was his calf that ultimately like was the difference in him being able to perform at a higher level in the series? Like even
that's the part of it. He was getting clamped. I really feel like the work that Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards did to make him uncomfortable with size and length, that really gave him issues more than anything else. In fact, I think it got to a point where he was getting open looks, but because he was getting, boxed up with all that length sometimes, the open shots, he was in his own head as well. I think the Cavs stuff plays a role in it, but I really think the defense and the show from Gobert and Cat at times really gave him problems, especially in the second half when Anthony Edwards.
But even in the Lakers series, though, so he averaged 23.6, but he had a 46 true shooting in that series, so like he just didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He never seemed chill, like he was able to get comfortable this playoffs. Now, again, should have won. You're up 20, so you could take 3 more days off, and then you could take care of business. But it definitely feels at least like he just wasn't able to muster up the normalcy.
Well, one of Jamal Murray's strengths is his ability to get bursts when he comes off those screens, and not only get bursts, get lift on his shot. Like I said, he's one of the best tough shot makers in the game, and he creates a lot of space when he gets that burst. Not only does he create a lot of space, he also creates a lot of space from the big when he gets in the air. So when he does that, if he doesn't have that, that's a huge part of what's going on with him. And I feel like Anthony Edwards really took advantage of that. I feel like Anthony Edwards stayed on his hip. I feel like Anthony Edwards stayed in front of him. I felt like he closed out with the right hand. I felt like when he got off the basketball, he threw him off his rhythm and kept him off the ball. When the shot clock was running down, I feel like he forced him into a lot of tough shots. Swipe, I won't argue that the injury was contributed to it, because I feel like it did. Because I do feel like it hampered him, but I feel like Anthony Edwards really hampered him a lot more than that injury did. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that he was doing, he could have probably gotten that off against Luka. He could have probably gotten that off.
They didn't even give him any separation on the step backs either. That's one of the
That's what I'm
things out of
talking
that
about.
pick and roll.
That's what I mean.
They did a great job attaching to the hips the whole series. No,
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's all the Wolves. Like, you win in this 7-game series, you deserve the credit. There is no like. If I was a Celtics fan last year with the Heat, we shouldn't have been down 3-0. Like, that's always going to be my perspective on a series. I think the better team takes advantage of mismatches more. Now, the first 6 games, Mars, I want to say it might have been the largest gap in terms of like point total. The average win had been 21 points on both ends between both teams, up 3-3. So like
all around.
The series had like gone either way. One team looks extremely dominant. The other one looks like they suck.
Right.
Their offense falls apart for periods. And then in this game 7 and game 1, they both were clutch situations. The Minnesota Timberwolves were able to win. They were just able to get more stops than the Nuggets was. But I also think this too, Chill, and again, more broad perspective, watching this series and the Wolves win in the way they did, this is why you don't win back-to-backs unless you have 2 generational players at the top of the floor. Just because of what it takes to do it, like the load you have to carry.
In this era specifically.
Ever. I'm talking about, so even if you go back to the 80s with Bird and Magic, and then you got Hakeem in the team, but even in that, like I'm saying, Hakeem, they had that team and why they did what they did. They were an incredible team, but Hakeem was obviously the pinnacle of that team.
Sure.
But I think from the Bird Celtics to Magic to Jordan and Pippen to Lakers, Lakers again to the Miami to even with KD. The last time we haven't seen this in KD and Steph.
Yeah.
You just need supreme top end talent to be able to do this with the collection of elite level role players. And yesterday, I think you got 69 points from Jamal and Joker. Typically, that would be enough, but they just did not get any support from the auxiliary pieces yesterday. But again, I think once the third quarter happened, I think everybody's confidence tanked, and they were just looking at Joker like, please save us.
Do something. Sure, do something. And I think
I
feel like Nas Reed contributed to that. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to discount how good Nas Reed was defensively, right? And I thought that Minnesota had a great defensive scheme. Like a lot of people talk about, Rudy Gobert's getting cooked. Cat did a better job on him. I mean, if can we put some context on it? Can we make sure that we remember that when Joker got the ball in the right wing and he's standing in front of Cat, they jump him immediately. They immediately jump him.
Heavy this game,
right?
Yeah.
Immediately they jump him. Meanwhile, they're clearing out the entire left side of the floor when Joker.
But the Nuggets on that swing pass had wide open 3-pointers. Still,
yes,
they just couldn't hit crap.
But here's the difference though with that swipe. But the reason why they couldn't hit was because they were getting challenged previous to that. That's a psychological thing. It's basically your football player.
What's the game 7 too, Jill? You know how it works.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, that's happened to Jamal Murray.
Outside of the stars, I'm not trying to take this shot. Remember Jeff Teague in the podcast said, like, I'm scared of this guy. I don't want to take this. I don't want to take this shot at all.
I've heard it before. I've absolutely heard it before. And you guys, when you get into game 7 and the defense that's been played on you, you're so used to that being around. I believe in the basketball term, we call it hearing footsteps. That's what you call it. You call it hearing footsteps. And
but you know who responded for Minnesota? I don't see. The thing is, and I don't think he was ready for the game 7 yesterday offensively, which is why I don't think he had a good game because I 6 of 24, 6 of 24.
But
hold on, Gifted.
I don't agree with that though.
But that's cool. That's your opinion. I'm just going to finish this. I think what the difference was, Cat and Rudy and Jaden, they were just ready, and especially Cat, especially for Cat to get ridiculed like he does, Gifted, the last several years, for him to get 23 big points. 23 big points,
important points, and
to be on the glass.
Cat was a notorious playoff dropper, though. Like, they're the reason why in the playoffs.
For sure. But he showed up in the series. He's really good in this playoff.
He was the best player of the game.
But real quick, though, I do want to focus on the Anthony Edwards point, though, because again, like from start to finish, Anthony Edwards struggled with his shot making. I agree, but in terms of applying pressure to the Denver defense and his playmaking, like I thought his process was very, very good, despite the fact that he was not making his shots. I think that Karl-Anthony Towns, for the first half, put him on his back offensively for sure, and Jaden with his shot making there. But Anthony Edwards was creating shots for Jaden down the stretch. And in the third quarter, Jokic and Jamal struggled to score versus their defense, and their other players couldn't hit shots. MPJ, 0 points in the third quarter. Aaron Gordon, 0 points in the third quarter. Nikola Jokic, 7 points in 12 minutes, and they were playing good defense on them throughout the entire game. Right. The fact that Jokic had to settle for many 3-point shots shows you the amount of length and size that was getting to him. I'm pretty sure he finished 2 for 9 for 3.
I'm just different. I'm not going to give that to Anthony just because of the defense. I get it. Like I'm understanding.
But it's not just defense. It's overall process as a decision maker.
His playmaking wasn't even that great, though. His playmaking wasn't even that phenomenal.
I do not agree with that.
I don't think it was.
Can one of you talk at a time, please? You guys are just talking every day.
Wait. What's the phrase? Cafeteria. Go ahead, Chill.
What I'm asking, Swiper, is why not? Because I mean, I feel like that's the mark of a great player. Because if I'm not scoring the
because you're not even holding Joker to that same thing. You don't when like you're looking at this game from Joker, it was a mid Joker game.
I don't look at it as a mid Joker. It
was a mid Joker.
He was better than Anthony Edwards. He was better than
Anthony Edwards. But here's the difference, though. It was a mid Joker game, not because Joker was mid, but because of what they did to make Joker mid. It wasn't a mid Joker.
Joker was 2 of 10 from 3 yesterday.
He was.
I'm not even talking about the.
And why did he have to take 10 threes, though?
Well, let's not even talk about the threes. Let's talk about the fact that he only had 3 rebounds in the second half. That's not because Joker wasn't trying to rebound. That's because they did a great job in keeping Joker off the glass. That's not just because Joker was missing rebounds. That's because they did a great job in jumping Joker on the glass. This is what I'm talking about, Spiper, when I ask you, when you're talking about the mark of a great player, well, what makes a great player? Is a great player a guy who just does one thing? Because I think that's a specialist, right? When you're talking about a guy who's affecting the game in a number of different ways, like Anthony Edwards, who he doesn't get down on himself if his shot's not falling. Well, how else am I going to affect this game? I'm going to affect this game.
So do you think Joker was far and away the best player on the court then? I guess with that logic?
Do I think
which I don't disagree with if you think that, but I'm saying, like, do you think, because Joker had 34, 19, and 7 yesterday, and he was 11 of 18 inside the paint yesterday.
Sure.
And he dominated. And then outside of really 2 stretches, he was great for the most part defensively when it mattered. You know, that Cat.
He
tried to take a, again, that's what I'm saying. I said 2 stretches. He tried to take a charge on Nas Reed. And then that ended up being even the lay or whatever. But again, in the first half, the reason why they were so dominant, they were pressing everything, and Joker was doing everything at the level. Third quarter, things started falling apart in transition. So I'm saying for you then, Chill, if you're going by the Anthony Edwards logic, that you still think he played well despite the shot making. So you think that Joker had still one of his games where even if like the stat line and then dominating the boards, being the leading scorer, like you think that was he did his job?
I feel like it was going that way.
Right.
That's what I feel like. I feel like he was when we started. I feel like he was going that way to having one of those masterclass Joker games. I'm looking at when we got started. Maybe I believe we were in the second quarter, and I think Joker had like 15 and
14, 15, and 5. Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, this is a 30 and 20 game from Joker, and they're going to roll these guys. That's what I was thinking.
But they started missing shots, and then the assist went away. It's not. It was on the way. It was all on the way.
It was going to be 30.
And no one can make shots.
Assists if they missed the shots. Like he was going to have a crazy game.
Chill, like that 3-pointer that MPJ and Cat missed in the corner. I mean, not Cat, MPJ and KCP.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just
Wide open.
Chill. I'm talking about you in your house next to your trash can.
He was wide open. No question about that. That part I won't argue. But when I think about what Minnesota did, just Anthony Edwards, from an overall standpoint, this is the mark of a great player. This is a guy who's affecting the game in a number of different ways, where he's going to slow down Jamal Murray. I'm not going to be D'Angelo Russell, where if I'm not scoring the basketball, I'm pretty useless out here. There's really not much else I'm going to do if I'm not scoring the basketball. If I'm not getting shots, like
he looked like Ron Harper yesterday.
Okay.
Is it standard Ron Harper? Is it standard Ron Harper?
I just
okay. So,
but you get what I'm saying.
I
So
do.
we don't when we talk about our stars or superstars or number one options, like we typically don't hold 6 of 24 performances in high regard. Now I understand the Kobe,
I do,
but that's still an abnormality. Yeah.
Here's the reason why I do, Swipe. But
right.
I do that because if I see the game, and to Mars's point, Mars is the epitome of attacking the box score watcher. In the box score watcher, the box score watcher will see 7 for 26 and be like, yo, this dude was terrible. And if you actually saw the game and saw how much he affected the game. When I watched Kobe Bryant in the 2010 NBA Finals in Game 7, where he didn't have his shot going and he said, I'm going to stick my nose in there and I'm going to go get 15 rebounds and I'm going to defend Rondo in stretches. When I watched him in 2000, when they played in the NBA Finals in Game 6, where he went 8 for 27, but he also played great defense. When I watch guys like that affect the game in other ways, that means to me that this is the mark of a guy becoming a great player or being a great player, as opposed to a guy who doesn't really do anything else except score the basketball or rebound the basketball. If you're doing other things, I feel like you're affecting the game so much. The fact that Anthony Edwards actually took on the challenge of Jamal Murray, I'm going to deal with him. I'm going to have to score the basketball too, and I'm going to have to affect the game offensively. But this is my matchup here. I'm going to take this matchup on, and he's going to have to bust my ass consistently. And he didn't do that. And I think that that's a mark of a great player in Anthony Edwards.
Especially during the most important run of the game, which is in the third quarter. Again, the third quarter is where they made all of their run and their momentum. And that's where No. The Wolves.
Okay.
The Wolves made the run. Right. Anthony Edwards in that third quarter, that was his best overall quarter of the game. That is where Jamal and Jokic were not scoring that well, and defensively he was making his presence felt. But again, more than all of that, his process offensively, where Jaden McDaniels could make spot up threes, he was generating those with paint touches, regardless if he was not efficient from a shot making perspective. Again, he did not have a good game from that sense, but the decision making to get them to that point in the third mattered. They needed every bucket they could get in that third quarter to get back in the game, being down 20.
Best Wolf in the third quarter. I think overall the best Wolves were Rudy Gobert.
I agree.
I think Cat was
Carl Anthony Towns.
I don't think
Ant was down here somewhere.
Like
that man. But Rudy is
what Naz Reid did in that fourth quarter and what Rudy Gobert did in that second half. Again, Jokic had to take 10 threes because of the size and the length, and they were giving him that shot. Go ahead and shoot 10 threes, Nikola Jokic.
10 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a block. He was 3 of 4 from the field, and then he was 4 or 5 from the free throw line.
That's huge.
He was tremendous. He was tremendous.
And
for a player that they tell me routinely does not deserve his DPOYs. For the same player, which in Game 5, when Jokic had 40 and 12, they were saying this is why Anthony Davis is a better defender.
Wait a minute. What do you mean Swiper's glazing Gobert? That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like, at some point, we do have to be able to turn on the game and just watch.
You just
the
acknowledge
process.
a great
player.
The
Anthony Edwards, as good as he was doing, the only reason the system works is because Rudy's in the game hunting everything. And so a lot of this is Rudy has to be the fulcrum of what the team is. He's their most important player because he makes the system work. Because again, as good as Naz and Cat are, they're just not going to have the same impact defensively. And I think, Cat was good defensively. And I know, we're probably going to start off.
He was great defensively.
Gil's Arena and all that stuff. We're going to say, oh, look at Cat on Joker. Look at Naz on Joker. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. On a possession-by-possession basis, sure, no problem. They got some wins. But Rudy literally turned the corner of the game, especially in the fourth quarter. And again, I just want to give a shout out to the Wolves. I think that again, if you're able to dismantle an offense, not dismantle, they disrupted. They disrupted the core of the Nuggets offense, which is the pick and roll. Boston can't do that. They didn't do it all year. But the Wolves are the only team that had the inverted system. Rudy, Ant, Cat, Jaden. they had the foursome that's able to disrupt it. And again, like their defense off ball, while it was spotty at times, they knew that once the momentum had turned away from the Nugget shooters, they focused everything in at Jamal and Jokic, and everything from that point on, it was cooked. It was wraps. It was over.
I mean, the defense that they played again in the third and the fourth quarter was tremendous. The way that they were exploiting what Jokic could do as a defender for the entire game was also good. Like they made sure to take away from their best players, because even though Jamal had a good first half, his second half was abysmal. Jokic, for him to take 10 threes in a game, again, the volume of that is because of the defense that they were playing on him for the entire game. I get what he may have overall finished with, but again, for Nikola Jokic, for his standards, that wasn't a good game for Jokic, and that's fine. Because again, when you're up 20 points in the playoffs, in the most important game, you look at your superstar players to make any type of impact. If it's defense, if it's scoring, you got to end it instead of choking the lead when you're up 20 in the third quarter. And largely,
I think that's where the playmaking came in, though, is that he was getting those same passes. They just weren't converting the looks. I think that's.
But his individual scoring in terms of Nas, Reed, and Cat as coverages were problems.
But you just
not.
said that's not how you value superstars, though. So I think if you're going to give Ant that same treatment, Joker made at least 7 to 8 passes over the stretch of that third quarter.
And I'm giving him credit for the passes. I'm not. Right. Yeah, I'm giving him.
But you think he should have been more aggressive as an individual scorer towards the rim, like once they started being able to choke the lead away.
Well, I thought he should have been that for one, but two, I didn't think his defense was good in this game. I didn't. I saw multiple plays where Karl-Anthony Towns was attacking him off of closeouts and scoring in the third quarter.
He wasn't the main defender on Cat, though.
You didn't see Cat take Jokic off the.
He did on
that was happening a lot in the game. You didn't
foul.
Yeah,
a shot pick foul that happened one time in the second half.
I didn't say he was the primary defender. I'm saying they were going at Jokic. Jokic had many times where he was in the paint just standing by and not contesting, which is smart. But at the same time, if you cannot make a shift defensively, that's a problem. And they were exploiting that. And that's fine because that's the weakest part of his game. Again, he had multiple impacts more offensively in the first half. But down the stretch, it showed you the biggest difference. The Wolves as a team, they had multiple players pop out. And this is in a game where Nickeil Alexander-Walker went scoreless. And he's been an important player for them all series long.
He was trash a lot of this series, but
I don't expect him to
Chris
score
Finch knew. Chris Finch knew.
At 0 points, though? Like
he knew, but Chris Finch was smart. He put
He had a lot of open shots too, by the way. He did.
I do think a couple of the threes with Jokic, though, Jokic should have stepped in or attacked the basket because he was wide open. Like they left him wide open on a couple of those threes.
He was probably fatigued.
That's the thing too. 100%. The rebounding second half, he did
47 minutes.
Yeah, he played every minute in the second half. Yeah,
I gotta read super chats after I say this, but we spoke about this game pretty much in depth. I found a new respect recently for players who are able to play the whole game and it doesn't really affect their performance.
I agree with that.
LeBron James back in the day.
Like, I think it's apparent. You look at Jokic, he was tired. Like he was very, very tired. With how active he is on a possession-to-possession basis, there's a reason he probably only plays 36 to 40 minutes in like high leverage games. It's because when you exert that much energy, it's going to be difficult to do that for 47 minutes. He got a 1 minute rest in the first half. Other than that, he played the whole game. You could see he was tired. A lot of the threes he took, I don't think it's because the Wolves defense stifled them and he had to shoot threes. He was tired. He was just actively tired. You could see him. There was times where he wasn't boxing out. He's tired. And he's trying to like sneak rests on possessions.
19 rebounds is like.
You do not think that because he's tired, he doesn't want to exert more energy trying to go at their defense. He'd rather just
you can't bang.
Yeah, that's the point.
And again, to be fair, the Wolves had a 92 offensive rating in the second half and a half court, so it wasn't like they were scoring well. Both teams were clinking. Click.
This was an 0-3
they were.
NBA playoff game. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was right, chill. I told y'all it might be an 80-78 game. And I said, does anybody score more than 97 points in this game? And both y'all looked at me like I was crazy. I told y'all.
I don't know if
this wasn't going to be no shootout to me.
The Wolves scored 98, so you was wrong.
But to Mars's point, Mars, does this give you a different perspective on Chamberlain?
Oh, well, I mean,
no.
I said it like 2 weeks ago when Swiper said he was playing against some random
Billy. What was his name? What was it?
I was like, you gotta give credit to someone being able to play the whole of every game for a whole season. I've been realized that, but like
chill.
He didn't
even play against you for 48 minutes.
Allen Iverson, all of them. Like
he played versus Mars and Gifted for 48 minutes. You don't get no credit.
Mars and Gifted is crazy.
Just for the record, Swiper, this is the 5th time this season that the Minnesota Timberwolves have held Denver under 100 points. This how many times.
But that's their defense, though.
Yes. This how many times they beat them.
They're the only
But
team that can consistently do this to them.
But the
Yeah,
Nuggets
like-
again, the Nuggets are also they also defensively they were good in this series. The problem was like it's those pockets. And again, you're up 20
Yes, them pockets.
at home in Denver in a game 7. Everything says win the game. Even I'm not gonna hold you. My dog, I got this kind of course on here. We were jumping, we were in the house, like we were like,
These dudes out. Choke them out, yo. Choke
Like,
these dudes out.
get it done. And
Yeah.
then once that
Choke these
15-1
dudes out.
run came, I was like, bro, I know what's gonna happen. I know exactly what's gonna happen in the fourth quarter. They got up 5, and every time they got up 5, Nuggets would get back in the game, hit a 3-pointer. Jokic, that elevator screen they run for Joker, 83, 85. Like, let's lock in. One possession. So I got to hear Mars in the morning. Right. Foul. Jaden McDaniels.
Jokic got to
Bro.
set better screens too. I feel like every screen was so soft. There's the Anthony.
Huh?
That's
I
think his screens were fine, but if you have a problem, like that's another thing. Like screen, you gotta hit someone to set a screen.
Now
Yeah.
we're going crazy, by the way.
When you're
Watch this
tired,
game
when
back
you're
right now, too.
tired,
hit him.
you
Yeah.
probably don't want to do that. Like I'm
Right.
saying, fatigue is a
Fatigue
thing.
is a big thing.
That's why
A real thing,
That's
Mo.
why I'm saying
I've got
if
the
you
real
have
thing.
a stifling defense for the majority of the game, that's going to impact how fatigued you are because you have to exert so much more energy just to score, just to bend the defense. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you know,
I got some super chats now. We got actually a bunch from this series. I'm going to get through the ones that pertain to the Denver series.
Bet okay.
And then
Word.
we'll move into the next series. Just makes sense. So, Drink More Water, $20 super chat. Shout out to you. He said, "What a series! When was the last time a team won the first 2 games, lost the next 3, then won the final 2 games? Wow. Where would you rank this series for the 2020 decade? I have it second behind the Bucks and Brooklyn Nets.
2020.
That was a good series too.
2020.
So the
that
last
was the,
4 postseasons or 5 postseasons, whatever.
You got Warriors, Cavs, 16.
No, I think he said
No, it
2020.
said
2020
Just
decade.
2020.
So
2020.
bubble onwards. Bubble onwards.
Ah,
I don't think that there's
series.
one, to be honest
years
with you.
ago.
I don't
Wait,
think
This was a good series,
2020
but some of these games were all blowouts though. So
you got
Yeah.
Warriors, Celtics. You got
The series was mid. Respect.
that series was not mid. You capping?
Why you keep bringing
The
a Warriors
Nets-
series? Don't nobody remember them series, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
You tell me
you-
Warriors
you ain't-
versus
you ain't-
Boston was mid.
You ain't see the Knicks play the
that Heat.
Sixers
I'm
in
not
the
gonna lie.
first
That
round.
Heat Buck series was fun to me. I don't know. What
That
y'all
Heat
talking
Bucks series is pretty good.
about.
What, last
Heat
year?
Celtics going 7 was pretty interesting.
Which year? 22 or 23?
I thought the Denver Lakers series were
23.
Davis-
23.
Okay.
Denver Lakers
No.
when Davis hit that 3 to or hit that
Oh.
3.
none of those series with the Lakers and the bubbles were interesting. They
Wait, those are
smoked.
hold on. Those were close.
Yeah, chill. I'm sorry.
Hold on, those were closer games than these ones though.
They smoked
Those were
everything.
closer games.
Yeah, this series went 7, but none of the games were.
That's what I'm saying. So how good is this series really?
I mean, but to be fair, like
Can I say that about the 2016 finals on the bad guy?
I'm with you with that.
I mean, but to be fair, like they ran away with the game at the end, but for the majority of the game, you was locked in on like, okay, what's gonna happen? They had like two games where okay,
but
it was never close.
if I remember correctly, game 2 was entertaining because it was like I've never seen Denver look like this. So that
Right.
was cool, but the game wasn't
Right.
close.
blowout.
Game 3, the game wasn't close. Game 4, the game was fake close, and then game 5 wasn't close, and game 6 was maybe the biggest blowout we've seen since the Grizzlies blew out the Warriors in 22. Like, so that wasn't close. And then last,
Yeah, but I feel like the overall entertainment of it is like, okay, they're not close games, sure, but it's like seeing how it's happening is wild. Like, damn.
oh yeah, for
Like-
sure. It was a chess match. This series was a chess match.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was the best.
I don't think it's like
series.
an all-time series. Yeah, because
Like,
of
but you
that.
literally said about when them being up 20, like you got to choke them out. Jalen will attest to this last night when Anthony Edwards hit that 3. I ran the playback and I
That
said,
was a big 3.
don't let these guys off the hook because they're not going to roll over. It was only 3 minutes left in the game. They still had, people thought the game was over. I'm thinking, don't let these guys off the hook. Got to get rid of these guys right
Don't
now.
let them shoot no 3, right?
This is the time right now when you got to end these guys. Don't let them off the hook.
But the thing is, fourth quarter came around, chill. Can everybody? You've been around me enough at this point. People think like, oh, you Joker, make excuses. I don't exist like that. My framework is there are things that happen in basketball that are statistical anomalies, and there are things that are supposed to happen. I'm a process person. This is why my life looks the way it does. You're up 20, third quarter at home, game 7, best player in the court, 3 MVP. You get the job done. But once you lose the momentum, it's hard to get it back. Once Rudy turned around and shot that, I'm like, that's what happens.
Oh, the
Yeah,
game,
that
the
game
game
was
was over
situation.
when that happened. When that happened, the game was over. That was
Yeah, I'm saying
When
they
he
got
hit
the
the fade,
momentum.
I'm like, oh yeah, let's get right.
We're still
Who's
7.5 minutes.
No,
in
the
the
Wolves
fourth.
won. I said.
I know,
was in
but
the
it's
Telegram
getting
group chat.
stopped.
I said
though.
when he made that, the game's
Yeah.
over. The moment he made that, I was like, okay, game over. GG's, Wolves won.
It was that.
I was like,
and-
yeah, I know we won.
the Jamal Murray missing shots too, because a lot of times Jamal Murray does start hitting those, like Chill mentioned too, probably one of the best top shot makers in the league. Once he started missing a lot of those, like, all right, if Jamal Murray's missing too, yeah, it's not.
No, man, when they subbed Nas Reed in down that stretch, and he was getting stops all over the court, getting steals, critically bothering Jokic lengthwise, scoring.
Again, I know Gilbert and
tip back dunks, like, ooh.
Gilbert and them aren't going to recognize this because I know, like, and no disrespect to them, they just see basketball a certain way. That's fine, but they're going to say Nas Reed played good defense. That's why Rudy this is not. They were the Nuggets. Literally every time Joker had the ball, they were showing multiple bodies. Backside, front side. That way, Joker couldn't just roll wherever he wanted to roll. So every time he would turn, he turned into that fadeaway, and Nas got him on a block. But that's because there's so much activity around him that he just couldn't take him traditionally one-on-one. But a lot of people say, look at Nas Reed's defense and stuff.
You mean, Swiper, you mean as opposed to when he gets the ball on the left block against Rudy and the whole left side of the floor cleans out?
Right.
And he's basically got a one-on-one against him. That's not going on when he's got Cat on him. That's not going on. They jumped him immediately. That's not going on when he's got Nas Reed on him. That's not what's going on.
We don't have to act like there wasn't moments for Nas Reed though where he did have the ISO and play good defense. I'm not going to act like that. That doesn't exist.
Hang on.
No, but I think, I get gifted even on those stops though.
Fantastic defense.
Yeah, even on those stops, there's people here. Right, and
then
Rudy, they even doubled off Rudy yesterday.
It's not always going to be 1v1.
They literally said, which is also a product of Jokic taking 3-pointers. If they're just doubling me on the block all the time, then I'm gonna take threes to try to extend them. And Jason Tim talked about this. He was right. Joker, his jump shot wasn't as effective this year as it was normal seasons or last year, and that ultimately helped them to decide the series. If Joker's shooting 15% better, next thing you know, he's 4 of 10 from 3. Now that go ahead. But I'm saying
that's just shot making. You just got to make the shot though.
I know. It's not that simple. That's the part that that's where the divide is with us guys.
What?
It's not that you just got to make shots. No, that defense had a lot to do with why Joker got slowed down.
No, but I'm saying
I agree.
His jumper,
but the open three was open though. That's not the defense there. That's open. Make the shot.
He gifted. That's the difference. That open 3 is open. Okay, so the 3 trips before that where I got the ball and I'm not in rhythm. I'm still not in rhythm because that's what I am. I'm a shooter. And as a shooter, when I'm in rhythm, that shot looks a lot different as opposed to the 4 trips before that when I'm around the basket and I miss it or I'm trying to actually get a top. I'm trying to get open and I can't get open. And every one of my shots are tough shots. So when I get an open shot, when I'm going up against both Joker, I'm going up against both Cat or either Rudy Gobert and I'm wide open, well, my rhythm is off. I can't attest that he was just missing shots because he was just missing shots.
No, but I'm not telling you his rhythm wasn't off. What I'm telling you is regardless of that, we've seen players make shots and not be in rhythm. When you get open looks like that, it's either you make it or you don't.
My overall point was
why is that? Here's the difference though, Gifted. Why is that?
Defense is why that is.
Chill. His jumper was worse this year across the board from regular season
the whole season
to playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Like he was a less ineffective 3-point shooter this year, and his long range jumper wasn't as effective. He was still dominant in that 10 to that the 3 to 7, 3 to 8 area, but he was a little bit worse at the rim, and then he was worse on his long two. So both of those things were what I'm referencing. So I think again, they definitely deserve their credit. But if Joker's even able to hit at a higher degree, then again, but that also speaks to like, okay, now Joker has 34, 19, and 7. In that case, he has 38, 19, and 7, and then they might have won the game because now you have like these. It's not a 5-point lead or a 3-point lead. Now it's a tie ball game, and then you got like a stretch down, and then some of the game flow changes. So I just think some of this is just Jokic oscillates as a 3-point shooter year to year.
I seen that shot variance. That's all that is.
That's what I want to ask you, because Swiper, you just mentioned that throughout the course of the season, his long ball hasn't really been like that. Well, wouldn't that be attributed to the scouting report is different on Jokic?
No. Jokic's 3-point shot open was down this year. He just wasn't converting.
I just don't think what he did for the season shooting matters though, because regardless of that, you go into the playoffs thinking, okay, Jokic can still make shots. Like, okay, you might have had a down year, sure, but I'm looking at you saying, okay, if you get an open 3, Jokic can shoot. He can make those shots. He made those shots in the first round. Like, okay, you can make the shots. The fact that he didn't, He didn't make the shot. The defense pressuring him into multiple situations is a part of it. But also, you being wide open consistently, rhythm or no rhythm, you should be able to make some of those shots. It's a miss or make league, regardless. We've seen players, right? Prime example, Steph Curry, when he had his own shooting slump the year that they won the title versus Boston, for the majority of the regular season, by his standards, his shot was down. In the playoffs, especially against Boston, he was making his shots. Rhythm or no rhythm, he was making very tough shots, right? Jokic is known to be able to do that.
Keep going. But the difference, though, is I don't know if that comparison is the same, because, one, Steph Curry is actually that. He's a shooter. Joker is a scorer who can shoot. So those
he can shoot. Right. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if those two things are the same thing. But again, when you're talking about, and I think that's what a divide is with us, and I'm fine with it. I think the divide is when you have a guy who's used to, because like you just said, it's Swiper, across the board, the scouting report didn't change on him. You're telling me that he just had a bad year just because. I'd like to think that some defenses were a little bit different this year. And that's attributed to the fact that you are the champs. So they come at you a little bit different this year than they would when you were not.
And get it. That Jason Tatum trade to Denver this offseason for the 2016 summer.
Jason Tatum trade. Oh my God.
That 2016 summer is gonna hit like crazy.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Go. Actually, quite a few more super chats. JA said Tuesday's gonna be a movie with the final boss. Glad I'm not hosting that tomorrow. Very glad.
Shout out Ticket.
I won't be here. I don't come on this.
Oh yeah, but you were here last week, but it's fine.
Yeah, but I had to make it.
Great. The great warrior said the Rudy fade sealed the game. I agree.
Sealed the game is crazy though. It was a big shot. Sealed is a lot.
7.5
moment.
There's so much time left in the game. You thought that sealed the game?
The same way that Derrick Jones Jr. turned around sealed the game for Dallas. Like.
I did feel like when Derrick Jones hit that shot, I'm like, damn.
When Rudy hit that shot, you saw the reaction of his bench, and you can see Denver's side too. Like,
it's over. GG's, it's over. Skip Bayless was quick to say this. He said, "Where's Swipe at?"
Right there he is, right there.
But you know, everybody on the timeline did this to me. Like, we're swiping, like they don't have access to me on a daily basis.
But you did earn that, though, Swiper. We can't play around. Like.
When have I ever not been here though?
No.
When have I ever not been here though? I'm literally everywhere. Like, I don't know how you could not.
Didn't you miss a day before when they were looking for you? Am I bugging off that?
Yeah.
Am I bugging off that?
I've never missed anything.
No.
Yeah,
unless I have a family emergency like today. Like today, I got to get off at 12:30 because there's an international leader that I have to go like greet later. So I have to leave at 12:30. But I'm always here. I'm here with y'all every day. I got to put a suit on today. So look, I don't know what to tell y'all.
Gotta get clean.
I feel like no. I feel like I'm specifically getting gassed because you did miss a day where they were looking for you. I remember that.
He ain't miss a day.
I'm here Monday, Thursday, Friday.
He's always
every week.
When they were down 2-0, they said you didn't show up.
It wasn't his day to be.
That was a Monday. That was a Monday. Remember, they lost the first two games.
And they didn't play again until Friday. So he wasn't here he's not here on Tuesdays.
Okay, so that's why he wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't.
It's not because he wasn't supposed to.
And then I heard mouth breathing Ticket talking about this is going to be a sweep and all that stuff. And the next thing you know, Ticket wasn't nowhere to be seen.
Everybody's missing.
I give you that.
I said it.
Everyone's been missing. The only consistent presence is me and Chill for everyone else.
Y'all work here every day. That doesn't make it. That
they work here every day. That don't count. That don't count.
That doesn't count.
That don't count for real.
Y'all meant to be here every day.
That don't count for real. That don't count for real.
Maintenance workers.
I'm not giving y'all credit for that. Yeah.
Y'all are here closing. Y'all are here.
I'm gonna swipe on that.
As a maintenance worker, guess what? If we ain't here, things don't get done.
That's true.
Make sure we get
because I'm sure
that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
Matter of fact, hey, Shaq, if you listen to this, please send them W-2s, please. These are full-time employees. As much as they be working.
Give them the
best
W-2s
y'all
out, man.
full-time employees. Y'all should help benefits with Kaiser as much as y'all work with this. Goodness gracious.
Sure. NV with a member for 8 months. Shout out to you. He said Jokic isn't the best offensive center of all time.
I mean, he's still in the conversation.
He still is undisputed.
He still is. Yeah.
Who you got? Shaq? Let me not pull up Shaq series.
I still have.
Let me not pull up Shaq series, Chill.
I think Shaq's a better player overall.
You not pull up Shaq series, Chill. Since you want to do that.
It's Jokic.
Huh? Chill. Don't look down. Don't look down.
Chill thinks it's
Why
Will.
Chill not saying
Chill
nothing?
thinks it's
Take
Will.
the Socrates face off.
I don't know why Chill not saying nothing right now, though.
I'm not mad at
I
Will.
know who you
Chill
represent.
thinks it's Will.
One more
So
time,
Chill thinks
Mars.
it's Will. Chill thinks
That's
it's Will
what-
Chamberlain. So
That's what I think.
yeah, but
Will
he's been-
Chamberlain.
Yes,
He said that as
The
long
minus
as we've had this
the
conversation.
finals dropper. Will Chamberlain. Never mind. All right, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
good.
we-
I'm good.
yeah,
on
we-
it.
Nah, you crashed
I'm
out.
good on it. I'm good on it.
DSG Piccolo with a $10 super chat. He said, for the first time in a while, we were not able to say that Jokic was indeed better. There were times when he was in his pass the ball to others bag.
Well, who was supposed to? What do you mean? Who is he not better than? Who is he being compared to?
Jokic still better, but I think this is the winning bias thing. If he makes those reads and MPJ or KCP knock them down, you don't complain that he's in his pass first bag. Same thing with like we're praising Anthony Edwards for doing the other things, but if they lost the game with him doing the other things, we'd say Anthony Edwards,
which is
needed to do
game
more.
5, by the way. That's
Yeah, so like I don't really
Yeah.
like I understand it, but it's like the only reason people are arguing that Anthony Edwards didn't have a bad game is because they won. So you got to say he did these things. But in game, if they lost and he did those
tap
things,
dancing for
we're like, oh, Anthony
Edwards
Edwards has to do more. He was missing this.
Okay,
read and that
no.
read.
Wait. Swipe and said I'm tap dancing. All I said was he had an awful shooting night. Hold him to the standards. Absolutely, 1,000%, right? But again, the impact that he had on the run that they were making is important, and I want to highlight that.
Terrible shooting.
I don't think he was the best. I don't think he was the best player in the game or nothing.
It's important because they won the game.
They were making runs, but he was on the bench too, though.
If they lost the game, you wouldn't bring up how he was very important in that third quarter run. You wouldn't bring it up.
I would still bring up the third quarter, but they lost. It would be a bigger thing about how his shot making impacted the loss. I agree. The win and loss does matter.
Our winning bias merchants, so we know how this works.
I'm a winning bias merchant. Swapper, you gonna do that?
I am not. Wait.
I am not no winning bias.
You say Tatum. You said Tatum's best small forward in the league because they were 165 games. That's what you
We
said.
are not going back to Jason Tatum. We are not going back to Jason Tatum.
Oh, you know what? That was chill. That was chill.
Not why I said that. Okay.
Every time,
could not be
well documented.
That is not why I said that, though.
Every time Swiper is here, he manages to bring up Cho saying Jason Tatum's the best one in the league. Every time, without fail.
It's a point of emphasis, and I still stand on it.
Time.
But that's not why I said that, though. And Swiper knows that's not why I said that.
Hey man, shout out Jaden McDaniels, bro.
Oh yeah, someone's been saying we haven't brought him up. I think Swiper brought him up.
I brought him up early. He was very good.
Maybe rewind it.
When I'm up here, we talk through basketball process.
We literally talk about everything.
Plays, all that stuff. When I'm not here and Chill has to go on these runs, he's going to bring up all these narratives about the ghost of Jordan and all that stuff, and work hard.
I forgot about the ghost of Jordan.
How much sweat Ant had on his head to show how committed he was to the cause yesterday.
Whoa.
Bring up sweat.
I'm not one of them dudes. No. You're not doing that right there. Hell no. I'm not one of these dudes. Like do we completely forget that Anthony Edwards wasn't even in the top 10 conversation earlier this season?
He still
was
not.
He's still not a top 10 player. Anthony Edwards is still not a top 10 player.
But wait a minute.
We can discuss that later. But
we definitely can discuss that.
I'm gonna hear Embiid and talk soon. I know it's coming.
I've always been an advocate of the idea that you got to consistently do something. I'm not just handing it over to Anthony Edwards and going, here's the mantle. Wait a minute. It's the first.
I don't have it off one season.
That's the first time he's been out of the first round. This is the first time this dude has been out of the first round in his career. Now you Michael Jordan? Get the hell out of here.
And everyone in the chat saying Anthony Edwards is top 10 right now. Y'all were the same people saying Jimmy Butler was top 10 last year. Y'all were the same people. And now Jimmy Butler isn't in your top 10. Stop it. One playoff run, a couple playoff wins don't make you a top 10 player. Go ahead.
I'm hearing Anthony Davis
for a
now.
while. Ant has had his fans for a while. There's definitely people who've been pushing the Ant agenda.
Ant has been overall playoff riser every single time. I mean, like he's doing shit that is literally unprecedented alongside LeBron, Jordan. He's up there in terms of being a playoff riser. And this is the first year we had a very good, all NBA caliber season. So that's fair.
Series with his elbow injury was it last season?
A bad shooting series
against the Nuggets. He had a bad shooting series. I think
he had an injured elbow. Yeah, and he was shooting.
I don't think
he shot well versus the Nuggets last year, though.
I could look it up, but I'll be honest. MC Robinson said Rudy's fadeaway shot had to be the nastiest shot I ever seen.
Nastiest ever.
Rudy got it.
I've seen some.
That's how momentum works.
That show was crazy.
I don't know if it was the
if I'm Rudy Gobert, I'm making that a poster and just hanging up on my wall.
That show was crazy. Over the MVP?
That's just how it works, man.
They really tried to tell me that they would be better without, the amount of narratives they tried to push about how much better they would be without Gobert playing. Again, it only comes
Well,
off because of how
were
bad
better
his
without
offense
Steph
can
Curry
look.
on the court this year in the regular
Now,
season.
I'm not going to entertain stupidity. So yeah,
Would you
like I mean, with Gobert off the ball.
Would you even try to entertain that? Because
Not for a second.
But to be fair, the
Wait,
number said.
no, wait. No. This is why I don't feel bad for Swiper, because Swiper says shit like that on Twitter all the time. Like, I'll never forget, right? In Game 6, when they got their ass whipped, right? Jokic stood up the entire fourth quarter, and Swiper was tweeting like, "Oh, he's got that look in his eyes."
I just retweet.
You didn't tweet that? Oh my God!
I just retweeted the
Stop
picture.
it! But
That's
you know
all
what
I
you're
did.
doing, though.
What
But you know what
caption
you're
did I
doing,
say? I
You
didn't
know
put
what
a
you're
caption
doing,
on it.
Swiper, come on.
No, but chill. This is what my
Be for
problem
real,
is.
Swiper. No.
Chill,
You be
chill.
doing slick shit and
Chill.
acting like you're not doing slick shit,
This is how
bro.
I know I've reached a certain
Be for
level.
real.
I can literally do anything on Twitter now, and people think I'm doing something else. It's like ulterior motive Swiper. That's all it is.
Bro, he's trying to act
Swiper.
like he don't know what he did. You know, come on, bro.
And then now Warriors fans are dancing on the graves of the Nuggets, like, oh, back-to-back champions. It's hard to do. I said, I wish he had KD. I wish KD was on this roster. I wish Prime KD was on this roster. We have a different conversation. Gifted. That's all I'm saying. Just acknowledge how we got here. That's all I'm saying.
But Jamal's like
Just
an all-time
acknowledge how we
player, so
got
it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? He's like an all-time player, though. That's,
Well, I mean,
that's fine. You don't need.
it just depends.
What you mean? What?
He's a great player. He's just not going to be KD all time. Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying, like, that's what I'm saying. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. It takes one of those kind of players. That's what it takes.
Thank you. Gondek V2 said, "Okay, stop saying Jokic is better offensively than Kobe."
I'm not even entertaining.
My God, brother.
I'm not even
Kobe
entertaining this
versus
conversation.
Jokic offensively.
Just look up Kobe series. Look up his final versus Detroit. Look up his 7 finals ever. I'm good. I don't
That's a
need
good
to look at
debate.
numbers.
It's a good
I'm
debate.
fine.
Good defenses right there.
Yeah, good. There you go. He said offense.
Yeah, but
With the
Pistons
Indiana
was good
Pacers.
defenses.
Who did they play in the second finals? Who was that? The Pacers were the first.
Second finals was the Sixers. Good defense.
Wait,
First
sorry,
finals was
No, the Sixers.
Yeah.
I thought it was
2000 was the Pacers.
Oh,
2001
yeah.
was the Sixers. 02 was the Nets.
And then don't look up Detroit.
All-time great defense. Sean said, "Stop playing with that boy Ant-Man." We spoke
6
about
24. Let's move on.
He got saved by Ant. I don't want to say carry, but he got saved by Ant, McDaniel shooting, and Gobert stepping up too.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
Ant's
but do you
another
not
good
feel
game.
like his process in
Here we
finding
go.
the
Here we
shooters
go.
was good
No,
in that
we
game?
talk
Like,
about
I
shooting.
just-
We talking about.
I think that
We're
bothers.
talking about
I think that bothers me in a win where his
All right.
process
Well, it don't matter.
was
If
good
Steph
and led to
Curry
the
goes,
win.
if Steph Curry goes 8 of 30, we're not going to
If
praise
Steph
his
Curry
all
goes 8 for 30, but has good process and they win, I'm going to talk about his impact towards them winning. I'm going to do that. Hang on. Just like if Jokic has the inefficient game, but you're seeing the impact and his process.
No, I'm not going to say that.
I'm going to highlight
I'm not going to say that because you know why?
Okay.
Jokic is still going to have 25, 40, and 10 or something like that. That's the difference. Anthony Edwards had, 16, 8, and 7 yesterday? No, I'm good.
And look, I understand what you're saying. You can do other things to impact the game. What Chill was saying, I just don't think his process was that great either. Like, I just don't think his offensive game overall was great. He wasn't creating that many great looks for his teammates. A lot of time he was just getting doubled at the top. He passed the ball.
He made the right read, but he wasn't making like
exactly.
crazy
He wasn't
advances.
exactly.
Y'all called him
were
D Wade or something like that. Goodness gracious! All right, go ahead.
yeah,
I think a prime
Bars.
example for me would be Game 6 when Cat only had 10 points, but his process was great. It was great process.
They won
And they
by
blew
50
him
points. I'm not even counting that.
That's just
No.
Go ahead, Mars.
A big part of why they won by that much was because they were able to turn defense into offense. Cat played great defense on Jokic.
You're never going to hear me somebody go 6 of 24 and I'm bringing it up as a great performance. I'm not doing that. Go ahead, Mars.
I never said it was a great performance. Why are you framing it like that?
Mars, Jokic is not better than who?
Yeah, thank you. Antoine SMD said
Jokic is not better than who?
Is there a player in the league you think could have played better yesterday, Chill? In the league currently, not all time. Don't bring up these two.
Right.
Leave these two out of it.
Is there somebody who I think could have played better yesterday?
Would have did better than what Joker did yesterday.
Oh yeah, LeBron. What are we talking about?
Now?
Oh, now in this LeBron.
That's what I said.
Against that defense?
Yeah.
Against that defense.
Steph Curry today?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I think
he would confuse their defense.
I think
Giannis got the answer in the chat, but that's besides the point.
Who?
I feel like maybe he said Jalen Green. He said Jalen Green. I think Giannis would have maybe forced some more the issue, but I think Minnesota would have still done a great job of keeping him away from the basket.
I can hear that.
12 points per game, Kyrie and
I seen Jalen Green give Jaden Medina.
So I said D Wade. I said now
today,
in the league.
You're talking about in today's game.
What about like Joel Embiid scoring? His kind of ability to get to the paint and score.
Joel Embiid was dominating defense in the regular season. I will say that.
I just want
The
to have
idea of Joel Embiid would have had a great game yesterday. The reality of
but Joel
Joel
Embiid literally
That's what
no
I'm saying,
idea was dominating his defense in the regular season. That's not a thought. Like he was doing that.
I feel like they would do. I feel like what they did to Joker, they would eventually do the same thing to Joel Embiid, like push him away from the basket. He would rely more.
Hey, that's possible
on that jump shot. But with him relying more on that jump shot, he could very well just shoot them out of the games. I feel like he could very well shoot them out of the game.
I mean, I saw Joel Embiid in Game 6 versus the Knicks.
He could shoot a minute, 100%. Mark.
He can also shoot a minute too.
Yeah, he can shoot it. But I feel like
Embiid a really good player. Like,
he's damn
really
good.
This version of Luka, I don't think actually would have been better. But
Luka.
He looking not healthy right now still.
Well, we'll see next round. Like we can just wait and see.
Yes, we can. We got that coming up.
That's it.
It's not the same. One has interior presence on them all the time.
They're different players. They're different players.
Well, then why even ask the question now? The question has to be just about bigs then. Like, whatever. Funny Muffler 202 said El Ron. I was waiting to see what he was going to say. I think he'll be
He's going to wait to Cancun from what he told me.
I think he'll be here tomorrow. I can't guarantee. Like he hasn't told me.
Gifted pretending he got his number.
Oh, we don't need Rock. We got Damo here to celebrate.
Oh yeah, we got Damo here. Welcome to the show, Damo. Welcome to the show. We're gonna get right to the Pacers game. So you came like right on time.
No, did.
Football Breakdown said Jamal had 24 at half, the largest comeback in Game 7 history. 45-point loss in Game 6. Jokic started 0 for 7 on mostly wide open threes. 26.4% in the playoffs. Is this the greatest offensive peak?
So typically what we do when we talk about offensive peaks is we do like 3 to 4 year full sample sizes.
So not a 12-game sample size.
I mean, I typically have not seen that. Because if we're doing that,
was
I can pull up some Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, apparently Shaquille O'Neal 12-game sample sizes that are pretty stinky. So definitely for sure, definitely understand that.
Don't get Damo started with the ball head menace. Don't get him started.
Oh please. Yeah. Say less. Said you're capping Swiper.
Blaming everybody else.
Jokic, blaming everyone else. Definitely.
I gave a very comprehensive review of the game to start the episode.
You capping for Jokic. You capping for Jokic.
People just don't want to acknowledge Jokic had a great game. His teammates missed a lot of shots.
Great game.
He missed a lot. Oh, now he didn't have a great game. Here comes Gifted. Here comes Gifted.
I do not think he had a great game.
Because they lost the game.
Yeah, that's a fact. They lost.
They lost the game. Yeah, they lost the game. So
if he would have won that game, he would have talked about his aura in the fourth quarter.
Bro, no, I'm not.
If they would have won that game, the way Gift would have been like 14 in the fourth quarter for Jokic. It really brought them over the line. But
Jokic could have had.
If you watch the game, you don't think he had a great game.
Jokic could have had the same numbers.
I mean, it depends on
MPJ hit a couple of threes. Opens a couple threes, they win. People talk about Jokic.
Y'all just ignore that run.
Hang on a second. I want to know why my nephew over here got this posture and look on his face. What's going on there? Because he kind of got this "I told you so" look.
Oh, don't about to get some shit
If we're friends, Damo, we're friends. I'm legit telling you this. If we're friends, I know we are, Damo. So don't act like we are. People that are not friends share that dumb video. I expect people that are my friends. Bro, you know that ain't me. And you keep doing it. You did it twice yesterday for no reason.
I get your shit out, Domo.
I've never done that to you. When the Lakers lose, I don't put up some random crazy video of you.
You didn't. But you talk crazy, buddy. But you talk crazy. But you talk crazy.
He was gonna do it.
You talk super crazy. You talk real crazy.
I knew he was gonna do it.
You pulled up in spaces.
Why are Lakers fans celebrating this win?
I pulled up in spaces and I got talked down to. I get told, we got and I got talked down to, laughed at, overlooked, and trolled. You damn right. You talk about we friends, you ain't gonna share the video. You're damn right I'm gonna share the video every chance I get. Every chance.
You thought you was safe, Swiper? You thought you was safe?
You thought it was safe? No.
Hell no.
It's all good. W chest day, putting in work.
Come on, man.
That is funny as hell. Oh my god.
I've been waiting them Nuggets to get knocked out. Just for that video.
That is just
that is hilarious.
Oh,
I swear.
That is
man.
That's how you know you've reached a level when thousands of people are celebrating something they know they ain't you. But I got it. I understand it. I appreciate
No,
that. I appreciate
but sorry, but you cannot act like you don't be talking shit, bro. You be
What's
doing
that got to do with
video.
video? I don't share videos of Damo. I don't have any evil videos of Damo.
Swipe be trying to act like he a victim. Chat Swipe is not no damn victim, bro. Stop it. You is not no damn victim,
So wait,
bro.
I deserve an AI generated video. I don't understand that.
Yes, you gonna blame artificial intelligence?
Oh, blame artificial intelligence.
You can't get that off, gang. That's you, man. That's you. That's
You can't get
side, man. That's your side hustle.
Bet.
That's the secret
That's your
TikTok.
side hustle, gang.
That's
That's your side
crazy.
hustle, man.
Taylor Swift sued for something like that, by the way. I can literally sue you, Damo, but it's all good.
When I saw the R. Kelly video, Damo, I'm saying to myself, I wasn't there, so I can't say with 100% certainty. But my man, that sure do look like you, yo. Sure does look like you. That's all I'm saying.
But you know how I know. How I know they took that. They took that because they had my old beard that I used to have. They literally put my face on some random person. I don't know who this gentleman is. He looks like he might have some kind of disorder. I don't know. He obviously has a disorder.
Person they put him
so
on,
this is, if anything, this is his Joker moment because you literally brought him on stage to make fun of him. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, man. When it happens, when it comes back to Damo, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I had nothing to do with it.
I'm not responsible for what you do, Swiper.
What I do.
Yeah, just take some responsibility.
Yeah, just own it.
I
It's
didn't
cool.
record that video and post it. Like, it's cool.
It's crazy.
Nah, man. Nah. In all seriousness, though, it's just I know y'all probably talked about a lot of the other series. We're supposed to be talking about the Pacers, and y'all already know how I feel about the Pacers. The Halla Band rose again. We went to New York, blew it up, loved it. Just vindication, man. Yes, we the Halla Band.
He's the Halliburton trooper.
What do you mean?
The Halla Band is so hilarious.
Look, that game, the game was pretty much over in the first half. I think Indiana shot like close to 70% in the first half. I mean,
their offense was
76.
Yeah, offense. The offense.
They shot 76% from three, right?
They were hitting everything.
Yeah, it's in everything, bro.
Side, it was just kind of like
but can we admit the horrific injuries that have taken place to the Knicks though?
For sure.
I wanted to ask you, Swiper. I wanted to ask you specifically.
That's fair.
So
I predicted the Knicks in 6, given they would be relatively healthy.
Right, and I wanted to ask you this specifically, Swipe, because I want to talk about the great players in today's game.
No. First off, you take that back that you think that was I don't know if it's that you, but it might be you. Take that back, and then I'll answer your next question, Chill. Take it back.
I can't take it back, Swipe.
What do you mean you can't take it back? It ain't me.
It
ain't me.
But so that's not you.
You just can't do it.
You're telling me right here that that's not you.
Maybe I should pull it back up. Should we look at it again?
Let's
analyze.
Might need one more look at it. You know what I'm saying? We can't really tell.
Wait, Swiper actually denying it?
If Swipe is saying it's not him, we need to really see.
Yeah, we gotta make sure because there's a lot of false information.
We gotta make sure. We gotta make sure. We
gotta analyze the film. Like,
I could be Mr. I could be Mr. Misinformation.
Gotta break down the film. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Let's pause it.
Yeah, like right here. Looks like you. I don't know.
That's you, Swiper. That has to be.
And that does kind of match a little bit. It does kind of match.
Are we gonna say that
you even
in these allegations?
Hold on. That's not you,
Swiper. That's you. It's okay. You guys got to own up to it. It's cool.
You realize?
No, you got
chill.
You got to get checks.
Chill. This is how I know. Chill. This is how I know your issue. Look at the camera. Chill. The problem. Look at the video. This is what you did. The problem with this, there's election fraud happening right now because of AI generated nonsense. And here go Damo putting this out there for the world to see. Not even caring about the fact that millions of Americans are going to be deceived this year because of stuff like this. This is what I'm telling y'all, man.
Why are you looking at us like this, though? Why are you looking at us like this?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Swipe. This sure does look like you. But as my best friend, you giving me your word. That's
AI.
Not you.
So wait, Chill. You don't know what AI is? Are you being honest with me right now?
I'm very well aware of what AI is.
All right, that's what I thought.
Allen Iverson.
I'm very well aware.
Yeah, I don't know why we're blaming Allen Iverson.
But
I don't know why we're doing that.
I wanted to the question. I wanted to get back to what we were talking about.
Oh my God.
In today's game, I forgot to bring this up to you guys last night. In today's game, Giannis loses Middleton, he loses Brook Lopez, and he loses Beasley, and he loses Bobby Portis, and he throws that unit on his back, and he takes them to the East Finals. How are we talking about Giannis?
Wait, what happened?
He'd have to have an all-time great performance.
So one more time, Swiper.
Who's he playing in the playoffs?
One more time. It's the same situation.
Well, then they beat the Hawks. I don't care. Right. Who they beating? Or they
So like you just said, okay, they start where they end up at the 2 seed and they end up beating Miami in round 1.
Oh.
And then they go from beating Miami to moving on to let's say they beat Indiana in the semis. And they beat and they end up losing in game 7. How are we talking about Giannis?
Well, this complete. I just feel like
but
scenarios.
Two different
like
scenarios.
you would have to equivocate the comp. Like I think the Wolves could be the best team in the league this year, and I also think they were specifically designed to beat the Nuggets. Like that was going to be their biggest opposition, and then they beat LeBron and AD in the first round. So I think like some of this is like if they lost to the Pacers, I think that would be an all-time like L. Like that would be an all-time letdown. Like if they lost to a team like that.
The reason why I'm asking you this, Swipe, is because with what Jalen Brunson has done with this unit before he got hurt yesterday, I feel like it's been nothing short of a miracle. He lost Julius Randle, been out of the lineup since January. Robinson's been out of the lineup virtually the whole season. OG Anunoby has been in and out of the lineup. I think he missed like almost a month. He's missed. Quite a few games. They still managed to win. They still managed to get the 2nd seed in the East with a bunch of rotation guys, because if Robinson is healthy, if Randall is healthy, and OG is healthy, Josh Hart, Hartenstein, they go to the rotation. Miles Bridges, he goes to the rotation. Bojan is now out of the lineup. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson is doing what he's doing with this unit. If I'm thinking about if I put Giannis in this situation, how are we talking about Giannis? I can't say I know how we talking about him. I know we ain't talking about him like we talk about Brunson. I know that for a fact.
Well, you're saying Giannis deserves more respect?
No, I feel like Jalen Brunson does.
But that's the thing with Giannis, again, because maybe your analogy, are you saying if this season he would have done that, or are we saying back in 21 if that was the case?
Not even 21. And the reason why I'm saying that, Damo, is because Jalen Brunson has a track record of getting busy in the playoffs. So this isn't something where we just seen this one time from Jalen Brunson and then he'll go away. No, he's got a track record of consistently getting busy in the playoffs. Meanwhile, he's doing what he's doing with this crew. That's basically.
But Brunson, no, he's not an upper echelon player in the league, though. So you don't.
But I feel.
Go ahead.
And that's the issue.
But Chill's saying, why isn't he?
But and that's what I was gonna say. This would be the year. This would be the summer where these conversations will start happening. And Chill, I said this on playback.
Which Damo and I had this conversation last night. This will be the summer where, at least in my opinion, where people should at least he deserves to be talked about like that, or at least be in these conversations, or be a guy that has that. At least
he'll be in top 10 talks.
Yeah, he should at least get the Jimmy Butler treatment. He at least should start getting Jimmy Butler.
He'll be where Ant is. So Ant's gonna get on the ringer. He's gonna get like 11 or 10 when it should be Jalen Brunson.
Which I was about, because Damo and I both had this conversation last night. Swiper, it is September the 24th, and we're a week before training camp opens up. Where's Jalen Brunson in the pantheon of players going into next season?
He's gonna be right in the Jimmy Butler tier, there. That 11 to 15 tier, 11 to 14 tier, somewhere around there.
Not mad at that. Yeah, not mad.
He'll be that guy that's in the regular season. He's anywhere between 13 to 11, and then in the playoffs, he's a top 10 player. That's what I think going forward. Going forward, that's what we're at least that's what the conversation should be for him going in the next season should be. He's a borderline top 10 player in the regular season and in general, but when the playoffs start, there's a switch that he can flip and he can take his game to a level that a lot of people can't take his game. I feel like he at least deserves that conversation of any.
Yeah, because his shot making was.
Oh yeah,
when he had a relatively healthy roster with OG at the 4th, they were looking like monsters. So I think if OG's there, I think they beat the Pacers in 6. I think if OG's there, I think they give the Celtics a run for their money. The Pacers, I think it could be a 4-1 series. That's just me. I think it can be a 4-1 series. It could be 4-2. Maybe if the Pacers are able to hold their offense up, which I'm not saying it can't. Definitely could. But if like Miles Turner and Jackson off the bench with Obi, with their tertiary players, if Neesmith can play good enough defense, they have pieces, but Halliburton's also going to have to score. He can have his best series he's had so far in this playoffs, for sure. No problem.
And, no problem. Hey, Chitchat, like I said last night, he's a superstar, in my opinion now. Now I think there shouldn't be as much pushback on the superstar conversation.
Consistency in the playoffs, I feel like that's stamping that. Like, this isn't something that he just did once or twice. He's proven that throughout the regular season, I am a damn good player. I'm one of the better players in the game throughout the regular season. And my game focused, Damo, because he kind of this dude up here, Aladdin up here.
Focus.
Yeah, he kind of screwing me.
What did I do?
Like, what are you doing?
Nah,
Anyway,
focus.
I was checking out my gym.
Anyway, so I
bet.
feel like and I feel like that's the mark. That's one of the marks of a superstar, a guy who he raises his game in the playoffs. He's awesome in the regular season, and he raises his game in the playoffs. And Jalen Brunson has proven that throughout the course of his career that I get busy in the playoffs. My game just isn't in the regular season. And I'm going to put something else on you guys' mind. Julius Randle, even though I might feel like Jalen Brunson is getting him traded, Julius Randle is not getting traded. He's not.
He better for something
not.
real. You know who he getting traded for? What's the
Who's
dude?
that?
There's a dude in the Western Conference. He's the best small forward in the NBA.
You talking about Kevin Durant?
Talking about LeBron James?
No, I'm talking about LBJ.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, facts. LeBron James.
No.
Facts.
Is he LeBron going to the Knicks? It's possible.
I hope it happens.
Will they draft his son?
Oh God,
Y'all, LeBron already said I don't have to play next to Bronny. He doesn't want to make Bronny do something he doesn't want to do. Bronny gonna go play for Charlotte or something like that.
Then if
First of all, that's not Bronny.
So if that's true, Swiper, what you just said, tell him to go back to school then.
Who?
If that's true, what you just said.
He
If that's
wants to
true,
be in the NBA.
if you don't care about playing next to your son, go back to school because you ain't ready.
You seen Love and Basketball? He went because he wanted to go.
that's what it should be.
Mhm.
I agree with that shit.
He
went because he
yeah,
wanted to
but
go.
he's not an NBA caliber player at the moment. The only reason that team
Yes, he is.
is to try to that's
I
crazy.
mean, how many second round picks are NBA caliber players the moment they get drafted?
I don't even think he's good enough to be a second round pick.
I mean,
He's absolutely good enough to be a second round pick. Let's stop the cap.
Okay, first of all,
We're getting off. We're going off.
we don't need to have
I don't
Bronny
watch him
James
enough, but-
conversations
Yeah, we don't.
right now. The draft is a month away. I want to
Yeah, I don't
ask
think
before I
it's
get
crazy
back into
college,
super chats because we kind of got derailed. Is Jalen Brunson better than Julius Randle now, Joe?
Oh my gosh.
I think he's the guy on the crew. To be quite
I
honest.
think.
Okay.
You think?
Chill.
How
What
do
do you mean
you
you
think?
think?
He said yes, and you guys
He
are
said
complaining
yes,
about
yeah.
how he said yes.
I want
Am I supposed to be defending?
You're good, Joe. You're good. You're
Chill.
good.
Chill. You do this to Pickett all the time. When I ask him a question, you're like, well, chill. And then Mars, when I ask Chill the question, Mars come up, well, he didn't know nothing. Leave him alone. Chill. I want the same definitive energy that when somebody brings up your favorite guy in green, I'm not going to say his name because he's apparently the boogeyman in Player's Choice. I'm not going to say his name. When I ask him a question, definitively tell me, yes, absolutely, 1,000%. I need that same energy for Jalen Brunson.
Even though Julius Randle before this was the All-Pro, he was the All-Star. Jalen Brunson has now become the guy on that crew. That's happened now.
He's now become.
As of
But
what,
why
last
do you
year?
say now when he's been there for some time?
I don't. Well, no.
Why are you complaining about his answer?
Bro, because he clears him as a player. That's why.
Well,
he
hasn't
clears Randle
always.
as a player.
Whoa. He hasn't always. It's not like he clears it. It's not like
He wasn't better than him last
2
year.
years is a pretty large sample size.
He wasn't always better than him.
Did he not clear him last year? Yes or no, Chill?
No, I don't
last
think he
year.
cleared him. No, I don't think he cleared him.
He didn't clear him last year?
No,
Why?
Because in the regular season he wasn't as much. He wasn't that much better than Julius Randle.
Oh,
No,
he wasn't.
not.
He wasn't
No.
much.
In the playoffs. In the playoffs, he rose
Why,
his
though?
game. Sure, in the playoffs he rose his game.
What does
100%.
Randle do better as a player, not named rebounding?
What does Randle do better as an
Take out
overall
the thing he
player?
does
I just want to hear it.
I guess.
What does Randle do as an overall outside of rebounding? Well, number one, I think he's much better. I think he's better in transition than Jalen Brunson. That's number one. Number two, I think he's a better defender than Jalen Brunson. I think he's better around the glass. I think he's better around the basket than Jalen Brunson.
He's better around the basket than
Jalen Brunson. Not only that, I also feel like defensively he's much better in terms of matches and in terms of getting in schemes, much better at 6'9". So his ability to rebound, his ability around the rim offensively, his ability in transition, not to mention.
Is he a better decision maker?
Well,
He might be a better passer. He
wait.
actually might be a better passer.
Wait.
All right.
Hold on for a second.
All right, Jalen.
Are you telling me? So who do we hold? So when do we hold?
Is that
point
crazy?
guards? When do we hold point guards in power forwards in decision making conversations? When do we do that?
It's not.
Is Mike Conley?
No.
Is Mike Conley a better?
I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna answer you right now. As a player, the way you rank your players, more times than not, you're looking at them as decision makers, regardless of the position. You're decision making on both ends of the court. Sure. In terms of, are you a reliable player? Randle has proven for many, many years he is not a reliable player against defenses multiple times. What Jalen Brunson did for the entire regular season in terms of improving his three-point shot, improving his overall efficiency and more than not making those decisions for that Knicks team in the playoffs last year and this year. He's proven to be a far better player than Julius Randle. He's proven that he is the player that the Knicks are building around when they signed Brunson. And I'm pretty sure when they signed Brunson, they didn't think, okay, he's going to be the guy. They just said, we need a point guard. He's a good player. We need someone else with Randle. But when he got on the court and performed, he was better than Randle pretty easily.
Really quickly, Damo. Really quickly, Damo. That sounds to me like a better IQ. That's it. That's what that sounds like to me. But go ahead.
I just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Gifted, you were arguing with him because he didn't say yes the way you wanted him to say yes.
100%. Yes.
Exactly.
100%. I don't feel
we're
bad
having
about
a
that.
conversation because you didn't like.
I 100% am. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that's crazy at all.
He agrees, but he didn't agree in the way I wanted him to agree. So
the emphasis of it should be higher. I agree. Yeah. It shouldn't be any question that he's the best player on this Knicks team. It shouldn't be
Gifted. You're arguing because he didn't say yes the way you wanted him to.
1,000%.
And it wasn't. And by the way, Damo. And by the way, Damo, it wasn't a yes. Okay, fine. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Right.
He was like, I think he's the guy on the crew. I'm like, what you mean?
That's not what I said.
I don't know.
All right, y'all. I'll see y'all.
Later,
Later, bro.
Thank you for coming.
Bye, Damo.
Bye, Swipe. Hey, send me that new TikTok you record, man.
And when you leave swiping, they're gonna be like, "Where's swiping? He didn't pull up." And I'll be like, "Yeah, bro, I don't know where you went."
I got you. I got your back, Swipe. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, Swipe. If anyone says where's Swipe, I'm gonna just tell them to rewind. This fine.
He never came. He never came, bro. Yeah.
Oh damn. But before we do get into this Pacers Knicks series and OKC Dallas and the conference finals predictions and all that, there are still quite a few Denver's super chats, so we are gonna get into them. Gondek V2 again said, I love that Ant fights over screens and took the Murray matchup. I wish Kobe was here to see it.
That was great. Him going through those screens was great.
Yeah, that was great.
He did the other things. Christopher D, member for 14 months, said that the refs were trying to give the game to the Nuggets. Mr. Call on Ant was a clear hack by KCP, but you call weak moving screen the next possession. Nasty work. Also, Murray is not a top 6 point guard in the West.
Stop it with the refs thing. Stop it. It could have been a lot of foul calls.
I mean, refs get calls wrong, but they definitely missed that KCP one.
And they definitely missed some calls, but I mean,
and it wasn't the goaltender on that. I think was that. No, there's someone they called the goaltender. It wasn't the goaltender.
Nasri. Well, it was the goaltender.
Bro, that one late whistle on Jokic made me so tight, bro. They gave Cat his, I think, 5th foul too. I'm like, damn, that was so late. But it's cool.
Liban Ahmed said Mars Rudy is better.
Then who?
Rudy might be better, man. He might be better. Say less said we are nasty for these excuses. Denver sold and Jokic sold. Cat needs to be talked about, not Rudy.
I think we talked about Cat though. Listen, this was a legacy game for Cat, and he absolutely showed up big. It's crazy because the foul trouble he was in wasn't off dumb fouls. It's just damn, bro, they called that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like he was making.
He was fouling Jokic. He was fouling Jokic.
Were we serious?
Yes. How about foul number 5? That was a dumb foul.
He was grabbing him. He was
the one on the wing where he was
the one where Jokic was on the 3-point line and he just had his arm on that. Yeah, that was bad.
But I'm saying overall throughout the game, because normally what he does is it's a quick 2, and then now for the whole duration of the game, he can't get rhythm. I'm saying overall, he stayed in the game until the very end, and he gave you good production on both ends
Rudy's the one
because of that.
Out. Yeah,
Rudy's the one that fouled out too.
Rudy did
defensive player of the year. Tito Albandito said MPJ sold all series.
No, he didn't.
100% sold.
We spoke about MPJ.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit older, so I don't understand what sold means.
Did not perform.
Yeah,
there's a reason why he didn't perform.
Hold on, Chip. He was missing wide open shots.
And there's a reason why he was missing wide open shots.
You can say
it wasn't just because he was missing shots. I'm not trying to hear that.
So you're saying Minnesota defensively, they were on him mentally, he was worried about it, whatever. But a lot of times they were wide open. Yeah,
open shots are less open when you barely get open shots, is what Chill's basically.
That's very true.
That's
I agree with that.
Don't make the open shots. It's got to make it.
Yeah, you have to. You're paid to, but
I mean, when you pay somebody $40 million, you got to figure it out.
Say less again. Very passionate. Said, wait, so we're slandering Ant, but not Joker. This is so nasty. I don't think anyone got slandered. Well, Jalen was trying to.
Jokic is still
defense was pathetic. I don't care.
I'm just saying people are just going to overlook the flaws and kind of the game you had because they won, because the winning bias, like you said. But Jokic was still clearly the best player on the floor. That's not even a debate.
You slandering the best shooting guard in the NBA?
And he's not the best shooting guard in the NBA.
He is though.
That's what I'm saying. He's not.
You think it's crazy to say he's the best shooting guard in the NBA?
No, I think it's fair to have a
point,
conversation.
I'm
okay for the conversation.
I think it's between him and Donovan Mitchell, and that's
who I think it is. I think
year for Jalen Green. Just wait. Year for Jalen Green. Just wait.
Year for Jalen Green. All right.
The Trib one said both teams played hard. The Nuggets going to have to develop their bench. Something we spoke about all year. The Wolves earned that W. I still don't trust Cat, but he pulled through. Question for the panel: is this Wolves team a dynasty?
Man, we gotta pump it on this dynasty shit. Can they make it to? Can they make it to the finals first?
Any team that has success, is it? Are they the next dynasty? That's what's the only team that didn't get that was the Warriors because they viewed 22 as like that was the stamp on the dynasty. That was like the final, the last dance. But every other team was the Bucks. How you gonna beat them? Haven't been back since.
I don't think we're gonna see that. To be honest, with you,
the Nuggets. How you gonna beat them? Lost. That's how it goes.
I don't think we're gonna see that this decade. I think that I think this decade is going to be very similar to what went on in the 70s, where we got.
I can see that
we got a different champion maybe every other year, and maybe we might have a champion win it twice. But for the most part, I don't see somebody running it off 3 times in 5 years. Not in this decade.
The way the salary cap works, the league does not want dynasty.
I thought Denver could do it. I did. That's not the problem. Jalen, the reason why. Okay, first of all, Denver got their whole core coming back next year.
No, maybe not KCP. Maybe not KCP.
They lost Bruce Brown. The way the NBA literally designed their cap is to kind of make sure there's more parity in the league and not to have dynasty. You just can't keep all your guys. That's just the way it is. Because when you have a great team, Joe, you understand, great role players, those role players are going to get paid. In an off season, and the team once you pay your star guys, you just can't afford to keep all those key role players.
But that's why you have stuff like the bird rights, because you can go over the salary cap to pay.
Sure, 100%.
Your key
He's
guys.
correct about that.
Now, 100% you can do that. 100%.
With that being said, you have to manage it correctly. We don't need 5 or 6 or 3 or 4 stars. We need what like the Celtics are doing, like what Denver is doing, where we built our unit around the big fella. We got an elite point guard in Jamal Murray. We got a sharpshooter in MPJ, who, for all intents and purposes, did they overpay for him? Maybe. I think that 192 million, I think that might have been a bunch. I think that might have been a bit much. However, they're still building their unit, they're building their unit around 1 star. It's not like it was 10 years ago where you had KD and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond. I think those days are over. I think the Phoenix Suns proved that. I think those days are finished.
And we understand.
I think they just went about it the wrong way.
With the bird rights.
You mean Phoenix, Damo?
They just went about the wrong way. They just went about building the team the wrong way. They could have had those 3 guys, and if they just would have got a guy at a different position here and there, it would have been a lot different outlook, in my opinion. Wait a minute,
are you saying with Bradley Beal on the team?
Even with Bradley Beal on the team,
these 3 guys.
Oh no, I'm out right there.
I'm not.
I guess.
Mainly because when you sign Bradley Beal, you now have 3 guys making the majority of your cap, so you can't get those good players anymore. That's the problem. Bradley Beal also has a no trade clause. Like you're stuck with that contract now.
Yes, you are.
And hold on. Go ahead, Joe.
Just so you know, Gifted.
Yeah.
Training camp opens. We already on the books with these 3 dudes for 150 million. When training camp opens, that's not any other guys that we have, and that's not including Grayson Allen, who we just gave an extension to. That's not,
and that's why in a year Kevin Durant's going to ask for another trade. It's going to happen.
And that's why again I said they just made some bad decisions.
With the salary cap thing, because of the progressive tax system, you can have like 1 year, 2 years where you're over the cap, you're going to pay tax. Once you start getting to that 3rd, 4th, 5th year, they start paying
3rd, 4th figures, then it's up
500-600. These owners don't want to do that. It gets crazy money. So that's the thing, though. They're literally building it in a way where, again, dynasties, it's just going to be tough to see. The only reason the Kevin Durant thing happened is because the NBA had that sudden influx of money that offseason.
And because Steph was on a cheap deal.
And because he was on a cheap deal.
Steph was making 11 million. And
a lot had to happen for that to happen.
A lot had to happen. Yeah. That happening again is just not in the cards.
They got lucky.
But that's why the Bradley Beal shit really hurts the Suns, though, because you traded for a guy that's injury prone, who's making 250 million plus with a trade kicker and a no trade clause, who's in his 30s. You did that. So now that's your roster. You're stuck with this team now for the most part, unless you trade one of Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, which is probably going to be KD before Booker.
Yeah, they'll play OKC in the conference finals next year. They'll be right. Sure. The Trib one should the Nuggets try and get Jokic a legit number 2? Or Houston for sure. Using MPJ and some draft picks, or should they just run it back with the same starting five?
They just got to get better depth around them.
Yeah,
if
get a
they
better
can.
bench.
Can we rewind? Because if I'm not mistaken, was the conversation not just a year ago? A year
They
ago,
were dynasty. Yep.
Yes, and these two were the best 1-2 punch in the game.
Nope.
Now
And
he's got to get
traded
a
away.
legit number 2. Am I in the Matrix? What's happening right now, y'all? What's going on?
Conversations change so
Winning
quick.
bias. I don't know what to tell you. They won.
Yeah,
By the way, I don't understand the massive reaction. They lost in 7 games to the best
Yeah.
defense in the NBA. I think what it should be is we respect Minnesota and their construction, and that's why they were able to beat Denver. But Denver's still a good team. They were not an unbeatable team. They were not.
Yeah.
Well, the way people were talking about them, but anyway, John Wick, one GM said Denver really need backup bigs and another wing. They definitely need to add some depth, like for sure.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, they do.
The backup big stick is
We
probably
talked about
most
that
of
last
the-
year. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
We did talk about that last year. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue they had. MW said Ant came out big in the second half. Murray was clamped by him, made timely shots, and set up his teammates.
Sure, he was definitely clamping up. I'll give him that.
That's why he's the best shooting guard in the NBA, man.
Great Warrior said, "How do we view Rudy with a ring?"
That means everyone who been talking shit about him being unplayable should shut up. And by the way, I hate that it takes a ring to acknowledge how good of a player he is, even though he has flaws. But to shut up the casuals, a ring will shut him up. It's always the flashy.
The ring doesn't change anything about him.
Winning matters.
No, I agree with that, but it shouldn't take him winning a title to say he gets played off the floor or not. That's just dumb.
At least
that's not watching the game.
Well, maybe not necessarily just winning it, but getting there, going deep in the playoffs, that kind of stuff matters. Like with the Kembe Mutombo. The Kembe Mutombo, as good as he was, that stuff wouldn't have really mattered if he didn't get to the finals.
Oh no, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying if you're telling me that he gets played off of the floor, that is you not watching the game. If you're blaming Rudy Gobert for not floor raising his unit, when for the entire regular season you surround him with defensive terrorists, then in the playoffs they show that that's not Rudy Gobert being played off the floor. That's a poor roster construction. And now that he's in a good spot that doesn't have that and they're going far, that speaks to, hey, maybe you can't construct a roster with Gobert leading your defense. That's the bigger point I'm making.
Rudy Gobert
also, also the fact that they said Rudy Gobert couldn't guard in space when you saw an entire series with the Phoenix Suns where he was doing it in space.
That's not true anymore.
Right.
You can't say that anymore.
Oh yeah, that's just a lie. Yeah,
that's not true.
This is a lie.
Rudy Gobert performing well in these big moments against competition who people thought he couldn't. That's what gives him, you can say more credibility and you can look at him as a different player. The outcome of the game itself is not necessarily indicative of him. He could have a phenomenal series. He could play great this next series against Dallas. Maybe they lose. He could play great against Boston in the finals. Maybe they lose. If he plays great, a ring doesn't change. Shouldn't change the view of that player if he just performs.
But it will. But it should.
It will. But it shouldn't.
It will.
I can't believe Draymond. Draymond really don't like that man, but it's cool.
Yeah, Draymond hates him. What a hater.
Draymond sounds like an
I know
idiot
Draymond knows better than that. I know he don't believe what he's saying.
If
he just hates Rudy Gobert.
If he watches this and he sees, I'm sick of that dude. I am
too.
Sick of him.
I'm sick of him.
Doma agrees with him, so he like.
You know what it is?
I love Draymond too. I love Draymond too, chill, but like he crashing out.
Draymond
crashing out, but his Gobert shit
thinks
to
he's
me.
the best. Draymond thinks he's the best defender of all time. He definitely thinks he's the best defender of his generation. So
Well, of
for him to
course.
see Rudy Gobert the 4, he's like, he's just hating.
Well, you have to think that that's like an MC. If I don't think I'm the best MC, I'm not going to be successful. That's like a runner. If I don't think I'm the fastest runner, that's like anything. However, with a guy like Draymond Green, I can't be delusional. I mean, this is the same dude that's telling Pat Beverly, you need to chill out. You telling Pat Beverly to chill out? I watched you choke a dude on national television. You telling Pat Beverly to chill
threw a
out.
ball at a woman.
And I saw you put a dude in a sleeper hole on national television.
Well, Pat Bev had bad accuracy. He meant to throw it at the man. He just missed.
Doesn't mean he didn't throw the ball at the woman.
Good on Draymond.
Yeah, bad accuracy, but it wasn't his intention. You know what I'm saying?
Regardless, Draymond is still a sick individual. All that hate is crazy.
No, but
I like Draymond too, but
Draymond just be going away
He don't like him.
his basketball mind to hate.
Yeah,
that's the issue I have. Like Draymond understands Rudy's role on defense.
He understands what team defense is.
Ignore it to push the hate.
Because you don't like Rudy, yeah.
He's talking about I would have done a better
By the
job.
way, makes you no different. By the way, that makes Draymond no different than the media people that he be criticized. You're doing the same shit for the sake of hate. Now, I respect the hate. I love haters. But for you to do it in that way, going against the platform you're trying to build about new media where we don't talk narrative, but you're literally pushing a narrative. It's crazy.
KD all year. He's now hating on Rudy. He's just become.
He started hating on KD after KD said he needed help.
He clearly does.
You making a brand off hating is crazy.
I'm not saying he don't.
Branding yourself as just a hater and that's being your niche.
Wow.
Yeah. Why would you do such a thing?
Why would you do such a thing?
I would have done a better job on Joker. No, you wouldn't have. You would have bust your ass too. No, you would not have. No, you wouldn't have.
I remember
you did the job on Joker that you did on him 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's not the same Joker today. No, you would not have done a better job.
We haven't beat him in 2 years.
He would have put your ass in a blender.
He did
just like he did everybody else.
After Jokic gave him whatever it was, I've seen someone say it was like 32,
Sick of that dude, man.
Something. After Jokic destroyed the Warriors, Draymond went on his point and said, "Oh, I had nothing for him. I couldn't do anything." But now he's going, Rudy's not that guy, man.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy.
He's just waffling. Gunny L next said, "I'm gonna keep pushing the Giannis over Jokic agenda. Giannis is not getting targeted defensively like Jokic did in this playoffs. Giannis is a better.
And Giannis is not doing anything offensively too.
Yeah, like Giannis is a better defender than Jokic.
If you value two-way play, if you value two-way play,
yes.
If you value two-way play, you can.
Which I do.
Make the case. Yeah,
you
can make the case.
No, you can't.
I make the case that Giannis is better.
I also walked out to the end of the plank,
and so
I also walked out to the end of the plank during a 17-game win streak and said, Giannis is a better offensive player than Joker. I can't believe I said that. I was wild.
Oh boy,
I can't.
You really went there with that one.
Just so you know, Gifted, it was during the 17-game win streak, and I'm watching this, and I'm like,
damn, he's crazy.
Yeah, I think he. And then I went back and was like, you really did say that out loud? You did not. You did not say that out loud. Yeah, I did say that out loud. Oh, I definitely got off that train. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was.
I do feel that. Wow.
Yeah, I got off that train. Yes.
MPJ literally turned into Tobias Harris. Nuggets fans now feel like our Sixers fans that 35 million is starting to look nasty.
Oh shit! He had a bad shooting series, but there.
That's why we're gonna win the chip next year in Philly because Tobias Harris is gone.
What about Houston, Mars? You don't get me started.
No, Houston is but we're not winning yet. We're not winning yet. We understand. Next year is just the year we make the playoffs, and then we're gonna push on 2026.
So we're building here.
Yeah, we're building.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure.
Gondek V2 said defensive 3 seconds does not exist for Rudy.
He's got, if I'm not mistaken, he got called for defensive 3 seconds a couple of times.
He got called for it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they called it consistently,
it'd be a lot. It'd be a lot of the Caucus. Yeah, he'd be there.
Well, what exactly is defensive 3 seconds? I'm on the I'm on the strong side. My man is right here. So, okay.
Yeah, if you're not actively guarding them and you're just standing there, it's 3 seconds. But some people just like they'll just touch and they'll be like, "Oh, see, I'm guarding."
Which doesn't make sense because the league allows zone. So.
Yeah, but you gotta play zone out the lane, which is why it's difficult. You can't just park your big down there like you could before in like 0-2. So that's why zone's so difficult now. Grizz said, when I saw they gave Reggie Jackson the taxpayer mid-level exceptions, I knew they wasn't repeating. Awful player. Denver should have got Lonnie and Fontecchio at the deadline with 2 seconds.
Fontecchio would have been nice for this crew.
Shout out to Players Choice Dave for gifting 20 membership. Shout out to everyone who got a membership.
Can I get one?
Yeah, Miles, I'm sorry. Keep
going. Marcus from 626 sent a super sticker. I can't even see it, but shout out to you for sending a super sticker. No excuses. The Wolves did their job, but Aaron Gordon was a criminal in Game 7. Rudy Gobert had a large
Gobert took him out the game.
Rudy Gobert had a large.
Gobert took him out the game.
Yes, sir. Y'all dudes be thinking that these dudes is just ballers, and if they show up and do their job,
yeah, they just choose to play bad. Like,
that's it.
They're
not Aaron Gordon.
They're having a hard time playing bad.
You think Aaron Gordon just showed up like, yo, I ain't gonna do much tonight? No, he came like,
there's reasons.
He got his shit box off ball. Yeah,
there's reasons. There's reasons. Marcus from the 626 or from 626 says, I knew Wolves was gonna win when Ant hit that 3 at the end of the third because I knew the momentum the Wolves would have going into the fourth.
That was a momentum changing.
It's the Rudy fadeaway.
The Rudy fade was so big, bro.
I mean, it was 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
The game was over. They could have ended the game right there. Everyone knew it was
mentally, it was over for Denver. They saw that. It was over.
As a Laker fan who's seen all types of dark magic hoops from the Nuggets and all types of ridiculous shots, when Baguette Biyombo hit that turnaround sky arching fader,
with the shot,
I was like, oh yeah.
over.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was
If
hilarious.
they hit net, there's no way they lose. There's no way they lose if he hit that.
I will say though, if you see Gobert hit a post fade, and that makes you not hoop, that says something about you.
Man, that's demoralizing.
If you can't hit shots after that, bro.
That's demoralizing shot. Did
No,
you
he's
see his
talking
teammates?
about his
I
crew.
don't
Like
care.
if he hits that
Yeah.
shot, like that makes my crew
You see
go
Dacian
from
Nix
here.
from the
I'm not
bench?
giving up like no, like okay, that's some bullshit. We're not going out like that.
Nah,
His big ass
the
hit
basketball
shots.
gods have said you gotta lose. Like I'm sorry.
That's a
Tito
hell of a fold.
Albandito said no one. Swiper. Shout out to multicolored Swiper. No other comment other than that. This is for Jalen and Ticket. Jamal was never ever in the same room as Penny Hardaway.
I forgot Ticket was hyping up Jamal Murray. I forgot.
Yeah,
about that.
Jalen, you was on
Hold on,
that
hold on.
track?
I didn't say he was better than Penny Hardaway. I say it was an interesting conversation. I'm gonna take that all back though.
That shit is not no damn conversation, and it never was, bro.
I think yeah, the regular shit, 100%. It's so inconsistent.
You put Jamal Murray with Penny Hardaway?
Conversation. That was my
Golly.
bad. I should have put it in the
Bad conversation. Bad conversation.
Bad process.
Marcus Tom 626 said that was probably the best team win I've seen.
Yeah, that was
The
a great
Tribe
team win.
One said Rudy's going to be dream shaking next series. Just watch. If he does that, hey, Rudy the best player.
If Rudy break out the dream shake,
If Rudy
I'm
gonna
done.
break out the dream
I'm
shake,
out.
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Damo, you won't
Ring
see me
him right
again.
now.
I'm
I
out.
promise
him right
you,
now.
I
Who
promise
is
you,
that
if
series?
Rudy,
We're gonna talk about
if
that.
Rudy dream shakes Daniel Gafford,
Rudy dream shakes Daniel Gafford. It's up. It's up.
Hey,
It's
man,
up. It's up.
Rudy got game. I'm telling you, Rudy got game. Like you guys
Get Gafford off the floor.
You know what?
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
I'm
No
not gonna
bullshit.
disrespect
If
it.
Rudy Gobert
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
back next year with a bag offensively, that should be hilarious.
Watch
If he come
Olympic
back with a
Rudy
bag.
this year. Watch Olympic Rudy this year.
Yeah, French Rudy.
Yes.
That would be so crazy.
What's
Use them
Olympic
way
Rudy?
different. They
Olympic
way different.
all-time great player. All-time great.
Yes.
If Rudy comes,
Olympic Nicholas Batum.
if he come back next year with a pull up mid range for Rudy Gobert, nah, that's crazy.
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Dio3734 said, I don't think you guys listen to Gil for real because they broke down the games exactly like you guys do. He gives Rudy his props, but he is a help defender. 1v1, kind of shaky. This super chat was not written in English, so I think I deserve some credit for understanding.
I just don't understand what you mean by breakdown because I watched their shits too, and that same channel was saying that Kyrie was a better player than Luka. They were saying that Jokic is not the real number one in Denver. It's Jamal, which is the same shit they were doing about Chris Middleton and Giannis. Like they break down the process of how you approach the game, sure, but in terms of their actual takes, they're very shaky with their takes.
Yeah,
To be
it's content at the end
that
of the day.
I've watched.
Right, exactly. It's
I
content,
just see
you know?
clips. Yeah, I just see clips. I'm not going to watching and be like, let's analyze his takes and like, I don't really care. But if you're here for us to hear us break down the game, I appreciate it. Shout out to the 2,400 people in here watching. Greatest said getting up 24 field goal attempts in a playoff game is admirable. It still affects the defense, and field goal attempts leads to rebounds. Not just anyone can get up 20 shots in an NBA game. I think that's a good point. That not just anyone can get up 20 shots.
That's true. You can.
That's
Anyone.
fair.
Like, I always hate the idea that if you give this player this many shots, they'd score just as many points. You have to be able to generate those amount of shots. You can't.
You got to be able to get the shots up.
Like Jalen Brunson took 26 shots a game in the playoffs because he could create 26 shots a game. Not anyone could just do that. You can't be like, give Josh Hart 26 shots. Like he can't just create 26 shots. You can't do that. Like, that's difficult.
Good enough.
And Ant's doing this while being double teamed. And then that's
so
by the way.
yeah,
24 shots up while being double teamed is
By the
crazy.
way.
But that is a part of the game too, because since he was taking those shots, he was able to get those passes off because they're like, okay, Ant is going to shoot this, so we have to guard him in this way. You know,
that's why scoring always goes like. We try and separate like who's the best scorer, who's the best playmaker, who's the best passer, like all of those things.
But they bleed into each other.
They're all so interconnected. Like it's really hard to like separate them because like sometimes you're a better scorer because teams are so afraid of your passing ability that they're not going to double. But then sometimes you're such a great scorer, they're going to double, which makes your passing easier. Like it's all connected in so many ways, which is why
I agree.
Can I just say real quick? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay, but Ox, I see you in the chat. I just found it ironic. On the day of the Haliban, you duck me. I get it. I get it. The day of the Haliban.
You got him on playback yesterday. You got him on playback.
Hey, he
Nah,
ducked me
it's not
there
the
too.
same.
He wasn't there. I
It's
was
not
like,
the same.
Hey, it's crazy. Hey, it's crazy. When Hallie decides, I'm gonna be a playmaker, I'm gonna get my guys going, you call him baby nuts. But as soon as he, start putting that ball in the rim and gets his team to conference finals,
He was cooking.
you at home like like your team. Crazy.
I do think Halliburton's the front runner though, because he don't be popping that shit when in the meat and potatoes of the game, and he ain't popping that shit when he got a foot in his.
He do be front running a little bit to me too, a little bit.
I think he got a little bit front.
Who doesn't front run?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Who doesn't front run? No, there's a couple players that don't front run. Don't do that.
I'm not trying to hear that mess, man. If I'm winning, I'm talking.
Yeah, that boy Luka was talking shit down 2-0 versus Suns, bro. He was talking that shit down 2-0 versus Suns, bro.
Luka's name.
Well, we're gonna get into that series, but before we do that, Hakeem Delph said, "Do you guys think the Nuggets should get more size for the bench to help Jokic?"
Yeah, that would help
against Minnesota for sure. They need it, especially against Minnesota.
And we're going back to the big man era, man. You need.
I don't know if they get it though.
Yeah, you need a big team. Let's see if there's any more super chats pertaining to this series before we move on. Boog said, if Rudy was making 20 mil, I think he'd get less hate. What he gets paid versus what he provides. He's a specialist, and at times he's a liability on both ends. 5 years, 205 mil by Utah was crazy. He's not a liability on defense.
No, he isn't.
Like y'all,
no, he is not.
What do y'all be watching? And see this. No. This is my problem. The same people saying Rudy Gobert is a liability on defense. Y'all were the same ones saying the Suns were going to beat them because he's a liability on defense. They get clamped. Cool. Then y'all say, okay, the Suns, they had a bad roster, but Denver, you're not going to beat Denver because Rudy's a liability on defense. If Rudy was truly a liability on defense, Jokic would have 40 and 20 every game. Every game. And that's not what happened. The Denver Nuggets would not be able to have 4 games where they score under 100 points if Rudy Gobert is a defensive liability.
And don't tell me, Gifted, that he didn't have anything to do with that.
There's what I'm saying.
There's no way that you can say that he had nothing to do with that. And on top of that, this Phoenix Suns team, which, to Damo's point, wasn't put together correctly, but they still had to go out and individually handle their matchups. And they did everything that they could to put Rudy in action. And he handled himself.
And he guarded well.
Yes, he did.
I saw many plays where Booker did not want to go to the rim because Gobert was right there. We seen it.
We've seen it.
The way people talk about defense is just dumb. Sorry, that's it. It's just dumb.
It really is.
Because I don't think that you guys in this chat, not just
it's only one-on-one defense
that sends these super chats. You have no idea how difficult it is to score on Rudy Gobert. You think it looks simple, like it's nothing to do. These dudes struggling scoring against him, working their ass off to score against him.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, one of the games they didn't score 100, Rudy wasn't there. So, I mean, it says a lot about just the defense as a whole for Minnesota.
The Wolves defense.
I mean, but we're not just saying it's only Rudy Gobert.
I'm just putting the facts out there.
Yeah, he just letting everyone know.
I'm not mad.
But Damo, to your point, that's the same logic that when Rudy got the Defensive Player of the Year and Rudy said, "Y'all don't need me," and then Cat is sitting in the background like, "Wait, what? I'm sorry, what you say?" I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Because what? No, don't say that. Because
the Wolves definitely need him. But we have
absolutely.
We have spent, I think, a reasonable amount of time talking about this.
That was a good ass series, man.
It was a good series. But now we are going to get into this Pacers Knicks series. There are a couple super chats pertaining to it. Pimp named Slickback said the Knicks ran out of gas. Wow, I'm shocked. I think that's sarcasm. And by the way, I'm so glad OG avoided a disastrous injury because playing on that hammy was dangerous.
I can't believe they let his ass play.
He had no business being out on the floor.
No business.
He couldn't. Did you watch him try and run?
He didn't try to run. Did y'all see him before the game? Did you see him before the game? They showed a clip of him before the game sitting next to I want to say it was the president of the Knicks or
I think it was the president. Yeah.
He was sitting there looking like he was on 12 flavors of horse tranquilizer. He was just sitting.
Yeah, that shit reckless as hell.
Oh yeah, they shot him up with the craziest amount of
the
craziest shit. Yeah, for sure.
But he is smelling colors right now. I don't think he should be playing.
I'm okay with him going and trying the first couple of minutes to see maybe you can play off adrenaline. But after he was on the court, like get him.
Which he did.
I shout out to him for being able to make shots. He made 2 shots. That's great. Shout out to him. I was like, oh my God. He made a shot, and then I'm watching him try to get down the floor. I'm like, this man should not be out there. Like, there's no reason he should be out on this basketball court right now. But shout out to him for giving him 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever he gave him. Shout out to him for trying. Shout out to Josh Hart for playing the game the whole time while clearly being hurt. Jalen Brunson fracturing his hand.
Josh Hart played through a abdominal strain and tried to play through that.
They just fell apart. The Knicks just fell apart.
If I remember Gifted correctly, Didn't that same injury? Didn't Chris Bosh have that in the East Finals in 13, and he missed almost half the series?
Couldn't play. When you breathe, it hurts. When you breathe, it hurts.
Can't even
breathe,
run.
it hurts. And he not only did Josh Hart play through that, he was still trying to get rebounds
with a strained abdominal.
With a strained ab.
Dame had that injury in 22 and played like 29 games.
And he was done.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about the Knicks or getting into that series, I just want to put out there first, adamantly, and before anything, anyone who wants to sit there and run with this narrative of blaming Tibbs for all these injuries and everything going on with the Knicks,
they happen out of nowhere.
You're an idiot. I just want to put that out there first. You are an idiot if we're about to sit here and blame Tibbs for these injuries. You guys are idiots. Everyone, when it comes to, I don't like Tibbs, and you ask them, because I've had these conversations the past 24 hours. So what are you blaming Tibbs for? Well, first of all, let's start with Derrick Rose. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And y'all be surprised how many people have gripe with Tibbs, and it starts, let's not even talk about OG. Let's start with Derrick Rose. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It's a bunch of people with low IQs out here trying to talk basketball, and it's very disturbing.
Yeah. I mean, but don't you think that he deserves a little bit?
No, you can't blame Tibbs for Jalen Brunson breaking his hand, slapping someone.
That's not. No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying
all that. You
can't
blame Tibbs for Julius Randle dislocating his shoulder, falling on the ground.
I'm not saying all that. But do you disagree? Do you disagree that playing these players like 48 minutes a game? Does that not impact them physically?
That's not what's going on, though.
I'm not. Listen.
I know what you're saying, Griffin.
I'm not saying that it starts any.
I think Josh Hart, you can make a valid concern. Josh Hart, I think, is a valid concern. OG,
that's all I'm
think
saying.
You can make a valid concern.
But
Mitchell Robinson got ankle surgery mid-season, came back, and then he got a stress fracture.
I'm surprised he came back, by the way.
That's not because Tibbs overplayed him. He was on a minutes restriction. He got a stress fracture because he probably shouldn't have played in the first place. He had ankle surgery. Julius Randle had nothing to do with Tibbs. Jalen Brunson had nothing to do with Tibbs. And Bojan had nothing to do with Tibbs. The two of them.
OG didn't either, by the way, Mars. OG didn't either.
But I'm not blaming Thibodeau for the injuries.
I'm saying it's because of him. But maybe you could argue. But the only one that I think, Josh Hart. I think, you ran him into the ground. But
bro, like he ran that man into the that shit was crazy.
Here's the difference, though, Gifted, with Julius Randle, who tore up his shoulder in January, which had nothing to do with Tibbs, to Moses' point.
Yeah.
Robinson, who's now in the lineup if he's not injured, and OG, who's now in the lineup. Josh Hart now is a rotation guy. By the way, with these guys healthy, none of the Knicks, before these guys went out of the lineup, none of the Knicks had anybody in the league in the top 10 in minutes. Nobody. Nobody on that roster was in the top 10 in minutes.
Josh Hart was still playing high-ass minutes before.
Nobody was on that roster was in the top 10 in minutes. So now,
hang on, let me see.
What now what you have is you have both those three guys out of the lineup. You also have Bojan out of the lineup. So who does Tibbs have to pick from? Damo, I got to go with Shake Milton. I got to go with Jericho Sims, Miles McBride, who actually is a rotation guy, but now I got to put him in the starting lineup. So I got to go with Shake Milton. I got to go with Jericho Sims. I got to go with Alec Burke. I got to go. What's the kid's name that played in Milwaukee? I can't say his name. I got to go with him. These are the guys that I have to pick from, as opposed to my actual rotation guys who are on the floor that are now starters. So I don't really have the pickings are very slim. Josh
Hart averaged 28 minutes a game the first 45 games of the season.
He wasn't playing as rotation guy.
That was the first.
That's who he is.
That was the first 48.
His minutes were not crazy. There's a clear correlation between OG and Randle going down and Josh Hart's minutes going up.
I gotta play
out
more.
Of necessity.
Okay. I understand that, but do you not think for Josh Hart at the end of the season, for a very big game stretch, for him to be playing the majority of the game like that, and then going into the playoffs, replicating that as well? Do you not think that did affect him physically?
I agree with Josh. I think Josh Hart is the only one.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I'm not blaming Thibodeau.
If you're
on
going to
these
say
players
one of them is because one guy played too many minutes. Also,
I'm not saying
he played that many minutes because other guys were injured. He wasn't going to play Josh Hart 49
and
minutes.
And he was still there the entire series. He didn't get hurt until the injury didn't happen until the last game of the series, Game 7. We're not even talking about a guy that ended up missing time this series because of this. I would even be more on the side of giving the Josh Hart instance if he if this injury happens game 3, and then he misses game 4 and 5, and he comes back 6 and 7 and doesn't look the same, I would even agree then. Josh Hart played the entire series. Like I can't even say Josh Hart.
But I'm legitimately not saying that it's Thibodeau's fault that any of these injuries happen. I'm just saying physically for the team, you could tell they ran out of gas, and a lot of that is the extra minutes they had to play to get into the playoffs and then in the playoffs.
That's fair. That's fair.
That is literally all I'm saying.
But guys had to play extra minutes to get the second seed because guys got hurt.
That's where I was going.
And they didn't get hurt.
But part of that is because Tibbs didn't want to play the other players that they had traded for initially. A lot of those guys were DNPs and didn't wind up getting minutes.
That's not true. Bojan was playing.
Bojan was playing, and then he saw him play defense. Like,
yes,
we
he didn't want to play
Alec Burks.
Jericho Sims is bad, Gifted.
No, we can't play him.
Jericho Sims is bad. Like, that's why he doesn't play him. It's not because he had his big man rotation. It was Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson then gets surgery, so Hartenstein has to play more. I've watched Jericho Sims play in the regular season,
and Hartenstein had to play.
And then Hartenstein has to play. Then they bring back Mitchell Robinson on a minutes restriction. He gets a stress fracture. Some people are blaming Embiid for it. I'm not. I'm just saying he got a stress fracture because he had to play in a time where he probably needed more recovery time. I don't think that's Tibbs' fault. But if you want to say he shouldn't have brought him back in the first place and blame Tibbs for that, I guess. Everyone else is not on Tibbs.
I misspoke. I was thinking DiVincenzo. My fault. When I said Josh Hart didn't get hurt until game 7, I was talking about DiVincenzo when he got hurt. You meant Dante played the entire series and then got hurt in game 7 and played. Josh Hart did. I seen somebody in the chat say it was game 6. He got I'm thinking game 6 still played. I misspoke, so that's on me.
And I want to give them credit too, because it's one thing to play high minutes. It's another thing to play high minutes with the Pacers, who are literally running up and down the court. Like the pace is just insane. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not blaming Thibodeau for what happened, but I think 100% playing high minutes before the playoffs and then getting into the playoffs. Physically versus the Sixers, which is a physical ass series. Guys are getting hurt in and out. And then you play against the Pacers, who are just fast up and down the court. Like, those types of minutes are going to tire you out crazy. And that's showing in game 7 to me.
And two things could very well be true.
That's what I'm saying.
And 2 things can be true. I can get with that. Sure.
Yeah. It goes in. It's a cycle. Guys get hurt. You now have to play guys more minutes. Playing guys more minutes means guys get hurt. And then you it's a cycle. Like, there's not much he could do. Josh Hart wouldn't be playing 50 minutes a game if OG and Randle didn't.
I'm sure that
he earned every dollar, by the way. He earned every dollar his contract.
I'm 100% confident that Tibbs. I'm sure that Tibbs' staff, if Mitchell Robinson, OG, and Mitchell and Julius Randle, if those guys are healthy, and Josh Hart, Hartenstein, and Alec Burke, and Bojan, and all of those guys go to the bench, I'm sure that his staff is in his ear. Yo, we go with Bojan. Yo, we go with this guy. Yo, we go with that guy. I'm sure that he's telling them that. 100% he is.
I don't know if I can say 100% on that. I would not be surprised if he just said, you know what, we're going to run these 6. Y'all going to play damn near the whole game.
Run 6.
I would not be surprised.
Josh Hart and Hartenstein off the bench would have definitely played. Bojan would have been more situational.
Yes, he would have.
But with Randle in there and OG there, like,
I think Bojan would have probably got more DNPs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with Bojan because of his defense. He's situational, but they would have had a solid 8 or 9 players, in my opinion. But Christopher D sent a super chat, and this is what I really wanted to get to. He said the healthiest teams usually come out on top. Injuries have always been a part of the game. Don't take away from the Pacers getting the job done. Like Cho says, you need a lot of things to go your way. So we did speak about the Knicks injuries. But I do want to speak about the Pacers and how good they played in this playoffs and in this series.
No matter in the whole playoffs.
Yeah. And I know Domo wants to speak about it. So Domo, the floor is yours when you want to go talk about the Pacers.
And you can go ahead, bro.
Oh, yes. One, vindicated. Vindication is the word I like to say about the Pacers, because a lot of people, especially Big Ox, wanted to run with this narrative of just how dominant Reese had to be. And I never felt it was a situation of Reese had to be dominant. Yes, he had to put up more shots, but it was never a case of, Reese just needs to go out there and just start shooting a shoot. He needs to play within the offense. This team literally plays better when everyone is getting involved, everyone's able to score. It was a team effort. His entire team played well. Guys coming off the bench played well. Starters played well.
TJ McConnell is him.
TJ McConnell is, oh my God. He's not
TJ McConnell was so good in the playoffs, dog. Bro. No, facts. Bro, his decision making, the bag, bro. When he made that 3 in game, what was it, 5 or 6? They were at home where they literally blitzed him. When he made that 3 at the end, where he waited 5 seconds to shoot, I'm like, oh no, he feeling it now. He's going crazy.
And the shot selection from TJ McConnell, being able to dominate the game inside the arc,
good.
In today's game, amazing to see. It shows there's still value in the in-between game. That pull-up midi he
100%.
has just seems so consistent, seemed like it was there every time, and it was just great to see. It was some great basketball being
He
played.
gave you great minutes.
Great minutes. Miles Turner, I feel like I was a guy
Gotta
who
give it up.
throughout the season, I was
Gotta
like,
give it up.
hey, they got to trade him. I don't know if he's that guy. He shut me the hell up. Miles Turner has had a
Hooped.
phenomenal run this entire playoff so far. I understand that the Bucks, they were shorthanded. I understand the Knicks were shorthanded. All you can do is play who's in front of you and play good basketball, and that's what they did. Nembhard, Nesmith.
Nembhard was hitting crazy shots.
Nembhard, Nesmith. Nembhard, oh my God.
Nembhard was crazy.
I'm still not over the step back fucking three.
That was a grenade at the end of the game. Yeah,
Game 3. I
think
think.
I mean, was it game? It was
game 3.
6.
No,
game 6.
Game
Was it 5?
Let's
you know what,
which game was really close?
I think it was game 4 because remember, if he missed a shot, they could have lost the game and maybe went down 3-1.
I'm pretty sure it was game.
I think it was
3.
game 4.
That's the only game that was decided by like.
3? Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
okay,
Because
word.
game 4 was a 30-point win, and then they lost game 5. Game 6 they won by 13. I'm pretty sure
It probably was game 3. Yeah,
Why
word.
is
It's happening so fast.
The
No,
Pacers
why-
had a great team series. Pacers had a great team.
They did.
series. And I look at some of the shooting. Nembhard shot 52% from 3 this series. Incredible. Miles Turner shot 48% from 3.
Nembhard was crazy.
Miles Turner was shooting. TJ McConnell, I mean, his average series, 12 points, 6 assists. He was
A
phenomenal.
loud ass 12 points, by the way.
I
Loud ass 12.
I think Siakam was the best player for them in totality, the two-way game. I think Siakam defensively was solid for them. And then I think offensively, too, gave him clutch buckets, good buckets, efficient scoring. So it was just a great team win. A lot of guys, they did their role. Halliburton played great. I don't think he necessarily had to be like, kind of this all-time great performance. It had to be phenomenal. He did his job. He was fine. Made the buckets when he needed to. So look, Indiana, like I said, played great team win. We mentioned the Wolves are being a great team win. I think this is a great team series win for Indiana too.
Damo, question to you, and I mean, we live in a offensive, explosive era, and the league guard in particular, Dame Lillard, Brunson, Trae Young. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. I have no idea what that is. But anyway, that's the era that we live in. Why is it that if you have a lead guard that isn't 25, 27 a game, why isn't he still valued as affecting the game as well as he could if he's not doing that?
Because people have been conditioned since, and I would say the mid-2010s, from guards being genuinely just score-first guards. A lot of the league guards are just seen as score-first guards. A lot of the guys that you're considering a top 10 guard in today's game, they're score-first guards, guys that are genuinely going there getting you buckets.
Right.
I was talking about this earlier when I was on Twitter Spaces. I feel like it is good for a guy like Reese to get the attention he's getting now. They're going to get to the conference finals because it reassures you can build a team around a pass-first, playmaking, traditional, whatever you want to call them, type of point guard. You can still do that as long as you do it right. Just like with the Knicks, you can have a small guard. You just have to build the team right. It's hard. It's not easy. You have to do the right things in order to make everything work. With Reese, it reminds me of, and maybe I'm bugging, but in the 2010s, how it was with Chris Paul. Chris Paul was seen as a guy who had tremendous talents offensively. He was seen as a guy who could get a bucket. You needed a bucket, he could get a bucket, but he was a floor general. He's a table setter. He's getting everything going for everybody else. He's getting everybody else going. That is what Reese is doing. If you look at how these Pacers are playing ball, everyone gets to eat. Everyone gets to score. I was talking about it before.
Everyone's shooting the ball.
Nembhard does not take that shot in game 3 if he doesn't have the confidence to take that shot. If Reese isn't the type of player he is, Nembhard doesn't have the confidence to take that shot.
Obi Toppin taking 7 threes in a game.
They don't have that. They don't have that confidence if you don't have a guy whose genuine love is, I'm going to get guys going. That's what he wants to do. I feel like with Reese going as far as he did, and someone's saying he's a better scorer. I'm not saying that Reese is the scorer Chris Paul is. You're not listening. This is good for the game. We're going to see going forward. There's going to be another team who's like, you know what? We have not been able to get that type of guard. Let's zag. Let's zig while everybody else is zagging. Let's zig. Let's get us this type of guard. Let's try to do that because it's a copycat league.
And to your point, Ron and I actually had a conversation. We were on here talking about that, where Ron was talking about Hallie not being able to score. And I had mentioned that maybe it was against Milwaukee, who, by the way, I'm on record saying if Giannis was healthy, they would have been out. But that's neither here nor there. If Halliburton is 25 to 26, that might have screwed them up. Maybe he wasn't necessary. Maybe 25 a game wasn't necessary. Maybe 16 and 12, maybe 17 and 11. That's necessary for this series. But when we see a guard, because to your point, a scoring guard league, when we see a guard 15 and 12, 17 and 9, well, he's not really doing much. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because Halliburton can affect the game with his distribution, with his ability to get downhill and get guys involved in the game so much more than he could if he was scoring 26 or 27. That's the same logic that I felt about Luka. You know, Luka's averaging 35 a game, 9 and 9. What would that 35 a game look like if it was 29, 10 and 7, and maybe a couple of the other guys were getting off more? How many more wins would that possibly generate for that crew as opposed to Luka getting 35 every night?
I will say, though, the one thing I'll say for Halliburton is he had a lot of moments in this series where his decision-making was kind of shaky than what I expect from him. And I do feel like sometimes his shot creation can be a bit limited versus length. That's why I feel like for the Boston series, it's going to be more of a uphill battle for him. But again, this really speaks to the Pacers as a team, like how explosive their offense can be and how TJ McConnell can come in and be TJ McConnell's overall decision-making to me really shifted a lot of this overall playoff series. He was great in all of his minutes. And then Pascal being that size advantage guy mismatch, that was great too. But the confidence, I think the best point Domo made is the confidence every player has to be themselves is why they won this series. For sure.
I feel like this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jalen.
No, I mean, yeah, I kind of said the same thing about the Pacers before. A great team win for them. In terms of Halliburton, I agree with what Gifted was saying. I do think TJ McConnell a lot of times came in the game, was a better decision maker, was better at kind of facilitating the offense, taking control of the offense when they needed to. So I thought he did a great job of that. And I mean, to Chill's point too, though, in terms of what would it be if Halliburton was, kind of that 30-point guy with that take away from his playmaking, creation, and all that. I just think there's players who do both at elite levels. Obviously, a guy like Luka, who I think just does all that better, better than Halliburton, is still more valuable to a team. He's going to get you 30 a night, but still give you incredible passing, playmaking, offensive facilitating, all that, right? So it just depends on some players are just going to be better at all that. That's going to take away too much. Yeah,
so why is the Pacers offense better than Dallas's?
Why is Pacers offense better than Dallas's? I mean, I think that has to go with the overall build of the team and the pieces they have around them. I think the Pacers team is kind of built around having, I would say, more shooters at every position, while Halliburton is kind of the lone creator. While I think with Dallas, it's more of the Luka and Kyrie show, taking turns, with PJ Washington, Tim Hardaway Jr. being a little more up and down with their shooting. So I'm saying, yeah, I just think it's that. Now, what's better? I mean, I think that's up for debate. In the long run, I do think the system, maybe even the system that Indiana has, may be better for consistent offense. But I think maybe the upside for Dallas might be more because of the talent level of Luka and Kyrie.
But because the Pacers create more wide open threes than anyone in the league. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah, they do.
So, and they can knock them down. That's compared to the Mavericks, they definitely shoot the three better. I think everyone would agree with that. Now, I think they probably don't shoot it as well as you think they do, especially consistently. Now, this series against the Knicks couldn't miss, but generally speaking, they're not the most efficient three-point shooting team. I think the difference, this Pacers offense, and what makes it so special is even though Tyrese Halliburton is a great passer and great decision maker and all those things, everyone makes decisions so quickly that if they push the pace, not only in transition, but in the half court, the ball doesn't stick. So if Halliburton's swinging it and then Siakam's driving, but if it's not there for him, he's just going to swing it back to the top. And then that's turning into a DHO. And then you're getting downhill. Then you're collapsing. There's so many, they're making so many decisions so quick that a defense can't keep up. And that's why they get so many.
Is that a coaching system too?
I mean, yeah, Rick Carlisle definitely has a hand to play in that. It's Rick Carlisle, it's the personnel, it's how like Obi Toppin, he wants to play fast. Tyrese wants to play fast.
Especially
Neesmith wants to play fast. Siakam wants to play fast. Turner wants to play fast. So like Rick Carlisle has definitely implemented a system that benefits all of those guys. But that's why they're so hard to stop, is because they got so many guys who can make decisions quickly. Like Dallas, like they don't have as many guys who make decisions as quickly. And
they move way slower.
The ball is going to stick with Luka, and he's going to create a good look because Luka is that special. But a team like basketball is about which team can score more than the other team, not which player can score more than the other team's best player. That's not basketball. If the Pacers are able to consistently score more than you because everyone is able to make decisions and everyone is able to make decisions quickly, that's what makes an offense like that so dangerous to play against. Because it's not just, stop Tyrese and we stop their offense. No, because if Tyrese gets off the ball, he can now space the floor, and then now you've got someone else making a decision, and then you're still just scrambling around trying to close out on this guy, but then he's attacking you, and then now the big man is having to drop, and then now Miles Turner is wide open. Like there's just they're exploiting every gap on every possession, and it's hard to stop a team like that, which is why I'm not saying they're going to beat Boston, but I'm intrigued about how Boston can slow them down. That's why I am. I'm just intrigued about how Boston can slow them down.
And yeah, the pace
very,
is
very good.
The pace of what the Pacers do is a great point. Like they just move so quickly, and Tyrese is prone to like trying to get the ball up fast. Even off of makes, the inbounds are very, very quick, right? Like they want to get guys moving in motion. And also there's power when every player touches the ball, when every player can go attack a closeout pass. Like it's an infectious culture for the entire team. And when everyone has confidence and everyone feels like they're in the game, it makes them play harder. Now, sadly, they still have a very bad defense. But because of their effort offensively, it outpaces a lot of those teams, and it makes that other team sometimes try to match their pace. And when you try to match the Pacers' pace, you're more often going to lose because you can't match their pace. That's what they do.
And
you have to,
I was going to say with the Pacers as well, they might have a bad defense. They definitely have a bad defense, but something they're great at doing, especially because of the pace that they play at, they are good at making defensive moments. They might have a bad defense,
I agree with that. I agree
for whatever reason, they come up with a lot of good defensive moments, and that turns into offense for them. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's kind of how they get over the fact of having a bad defense. They might have a bad defense, but TJ's out there hounding people. Yeah. TJ's out there hounding people. Neesmith's out there hounding people.
Yes.
Reese, and again, I seen in the last game, Reese might be you can say Reese is a bad defender. When he gives effort, he's net neutral. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. He's a net neutral when he's out there trying to blindside block, get that little tip, little steal.
Promise you don't
ripping somebody. It's lovely to see.
They are the biggest amnesia team in the NBA. Where they forget about whatever just happened. Like listen, I saw Obi Toppin shoot, brick, catch it again, shoot. Like they're just so on the next play, the next play, the next play. It has to be your mindset.
They get that from Rick Carlisle, and that's why they play as fast as they play. Not only that's why they play as fast as they play. They do the same thing on defense too. So they blow an assignment, like on to the next one, on to the next one. I think I think he gets that from when he used to play with the Celtics, and he gets that from being around Larry Bird, because Larry Bird was the epitome of that. Where Larry Bird would miss a shot, and his mentality was the next shot's going in. The next shot's going in. Don't stay on the last shot. I can't believe I missed that. Don't get on that. The next shot's going in. And he preaches that with that Indiana team. That's why they play as fast as they play, because they forget what's going on. The last trip, I missed the layup, because I'm probably going to get another one either the next trip or the next two trips. Because we play as fast as we do.
When you play that fast, you don't even have time to think about the fact that you might have made a mistake.
You got to know what to do.
Like the amount of times I've watched them have like a breakdown on defense. Like normally I see teams have a breakdown, and then you see like the big and like the guard, they'll look at each other like,
no, they just
Tyrese is already quick, let's go.
He's already quick.
You don't have time to think about the mistakes you made. We're running every time.
And that's a great point. The other thing I didn't really think about until Mars, because of that, like it's less complaining and less bad body language, because you're so focused on the next shit. You don't have time to like yell at each other, get mad about stuff. You just going.
Like there's no time to harp on the pass play or like they don't run like they're not gonna walk the ball up the court like 90s basketball, and then they're gonna run a set for this guy.
And now I'm sitting on the fact that I just blew this layup.
Like I missed the shot.
The ball has energy. Like they're just like every every play they're gonna get into something. Like they'll get into like a high pick and roll, or they'll get into like a Spain or something. They'll get into something. But if they don't get their first option, they just have so many guys who can continue to make decisions that you can't prevent them from getting a good shot in a 24-second time frame. They're more than likely on a possession-to-possession basis in 24 seconds, they're probably gonna get a good look because it's hard to stay with a team that consistently is putting pressure on your defense every single action. Like there's teams like, for example, the Nuggets. Like the Nuggets are a great team because they're gonna get to their 2-man game, and then Jokic is probably gonna draw a double, or Jamal's gonna draw a double, and they're gonna make reads. But it's methodical. It's a methodical,
and they have a very good half-court offense.
We're gonna run it. We're gonna run it into your defense. Someone is gonna crack. Like that's what it is. Something's gonna crack, and we're gonna find it, and we're gonna get a good look.
What are the Indiana Pacers doing in the Eastern Conference Championship? Get the Indiana Pacers out of here, Damo. I can't believe
I love watching them play.
I love watching them play too. But like, I will say this: another thing with their pace that's so fascinating is it's not like they're just this fast break team who we got to figure it out, but their offensive process in the half court, which like half court offense,
they run good action. Yeah, they do.
It's very important, right?
Yes, they do.
My thing with Boston should be favored 100%. I agree. They have bad, right? But I will say this: Boston all season long, and for years, to be honest, are prone for settling for threes. And when you settle for shots with the Pacers, they're turning your bricks in the out. And also, with no Porzingis, the out or for minutes look choppy, man. Like they do.
Also, for what it's worth, the Pacers, like one thing, like their defense isn't very good. I think most people agree with that. One thing they don't give up wide open threes. Like they will run you.
Closing out.
One thing they will do is they'll run you off the line. Now, unfortunately, that puts a lot of pressure on Miles Turner as a rim protector, and that's why their defense probably isn't very good. But they don't give up wide open threes, and Boston are going to shoot threes whether or not they're open or not. So there's a chance if Boston coincidentally go cold at the wrong time, it's possible. That's what I'm saying. It's possible. Now it's going to happen, probably not, but it's possible. There's an avenue to where if everything goes wrong for Boston and everything goes right for the Pacers, they can get this done.
And chill. We talked about this earlier, right? Like many months ago, whatever, right? We said this, I think, on playback, maybe, right? Boston, fundamentally, even though they are a great team, they are not the same team this season without Porzingis. Porzingis is a very big thing for everything that they do.
He's the difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're gonna need him back, especially for the finals.
I
think they can get away with it against Indiana, but for the finals, they'll definitely need him.
If there was 1 year where everything can go wrong for Boston, it's this year. It's this year, baby. The Halliburton is in full effect, and we pulling up to Massachusetts.
Is there an update on Porzingis? Is it no one?
Apparently, all I've heard is he's only doing light shooting.
I thought he was going to miss the first game of the series, and he might be questionable for game 3. That's what I heard. I'm not sure.
It'll take him a couple games.
We'll find out on a.
Even though I don't think this is realistic, but are we gonna? Do I have to entertain the conversation of the Indiana Pacers winning the NBA championship? Do I have to entertain?
Oh man, chill out.
You're not taking years off my life right now. I'm telling you,
they not beating Minnesota.
This is taking years off my life, Damo. I can't handle you. I cannot handle you. You in particular.
Oh my god. Unsufferable. No,
if they win the championship this year, that'd be crazy.
There is something I want to say.
Entertain that.
I mean, they won the final 4. I mean, do they have to be in the final 2 for you to start entertaining?
I'm gonna say that they are a contender at this point right now. They're a contender. They're one of the final 4 teams. And if they take a game, especially if they take a game in Boston, if they take a game in Boston,
going to take a game in Boston. It's going to happen.
I think it's
100% gets a game in Boston, though.
I don't care. I don't care.
Every team gets a game in Boston.
Can't do that.
I don't care what everybody else is doing. I don't care about what they're doing. And if they take a game in Boston, I think it's 100%. I think it's 100% possible. And God forbid they knock out the Celtics and we have a Halliburton versus whoever. Halliburton versus Edwards, which that would be amazing, especially after the summer they had, because they was really close to summer. And they definitely were really close to summer. So that would be dope. Or Halliburton versus Luka, which, oh my God.
If Luka wins the championship.
Bro. I gotta be so honest with you, right? If the Pacers make it to the finals, I think the biggest thing we have to give credit to is for the front office to have the balls to say, "Let's trade for Siakam."
That's gonna happen, and that's why we need to talk about OKC, which we're gonna get to. But because
they didn't make the moves, Mars. They didn't make the moves that we talked about.
But we are going to get into that.
Can I just say, before we go, I do want to say,
sure,
because this season we definitely had a lot of conversations about the development cycle of American basketball. Right now, everybody, I want y'all to understand we're looking at a conference finals where 3 of the 4 number 1 options, star players, best players, or whatever, are AAU products. These are products of AAU basketball. I know he's going to say that. I just wanted to put it out there that this year, right now, in the conference finals, 3 of the 4 best players came up through the AAU circuit cycle, whatever, on all levels, playing on crazy good nationally ranked teams, playing on who the hell cares, teams. And before people start me riding and say, "Oh my God, Domo, you're just stealing Eli's tweet," I would never.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that to you.
I would never take Sean away. I would never take Sean away from my brother. I would never do that. Because I already got it right here ready to go. Hold on.
I will say though, Domo, like,
damn,
I don't know, man.
Shout out my guy Eli. For putting it out there. 3 of the 4 best players. AAU babies. Come on, man. Put some. Hey, we love to disrespect our development cycle and everything.
And I will continue to. It's bad development still. I don't care.
On it. Put some respect on it, man.
I won't. I will not. It's still bad process. Shout out to them for making it through that, but it doesn't mean AAU culture is good for development still. It's still ass.
To be honest with you, Gifted, I was thinking about them just being American. I didn't even think about the AAU part.
That's the point. Listen, a lot of people criticize the AAU process because the process is bad. No shot clock. You're playing 5 games every single day. A lot of these players are coming into the league with broken bodies. Lonzo Ball, right? Like, you see these things happening.
What?
That had nothing to do with AAU. Stop it. Stop it. The wear and tear. Domo. The wear and tear. Domo. Yes, the wear and tear on these players, AAU wise, before they go to college and then the NBA, they have miles on their bodies that takes away from them. Is that true or false? I
would say false because players have always been playing AAU, so I'm saying false.
I don't think it's good process.
God knows how long. You go back and look at these interviews. You got Tim Thomas talking about playing AAU with Kobe in the 90s, but no one was complaining about AAU in the mid 2000s. So I don't want to hear that.
Not it. That shit is not it. It's not it.
No. This slandering of AAU culture. This is some new social media BS. It's only because there's so much money and so many people are trying to profit off AAU, and it's a magnifying glass being put on it that now we want to talk about it. But to be so real, they have been playing AAU forever. At no point in the 2000s, Chilltown, please tell me if I'm wrong, they were not complaining to this extent about the AAU process. Were they not? That was not a talking point.
Yeah, because a lot of the process back then, that's how it was.
People will go to college. So people they wouldn't care about it. You still had the process of going to college, developing, honing your craft, and all this, that, and the third. But now, because kids are finding other avenues to go pro, kids don't want to go to college, everything like that. Now we got to find something to blame. So now we want to blame AAU, and that's whack.
I think that time changes, and the standard for what was acceptable 10 years ago isn't the standard today. Time changes. What's the problem with that?
It does. And really quickly, Damo, to your point, not only were they not complaining, the AAU circuit was where you found out where this guy was going to college. It wasn't high school basketball.
Right.
That's why they're talking about guys like Derrick Rose and all of these big-time players. Now it's not like that, but I digress.
Yeah. I just think that things change, but you can go ahead, Mars. You can go ahead.
Thank you. These super chats are just miscellaneous. Giannis took the seeds to 7 without Chris Middleton. Giannis over Jokic. Those conversations are definitely.
Bro, y'all really just be yapping for real. Y'all be yapping.
Those conversations are definitely going to start up again in the offseason.
And wait, hold on. Yeah, that's not the reason why you'd have Giannis.
It's not the same thing.
Plenty of others you could.
That's not the same thing at all.
You got a long offseason where who's the best player in the world, and if guarantee when the Mavs win, it's going to be Luka. Like, that's what everyone's.
People are not used to the best player in the world not winning.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Logan Messiah said Luka versus the Wolves. It is then, so be it. Well, it's Dallas versus.
That's gonna be a fun series to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
That's gonna be great.
For that.
Le Flame said Celtics in 5 though.
Celtics in 5.
We'll have some. We'll probably do predictions tomorrow. I assume.
That's when the series starts. To be honest.
Yeah. Tay Luke said, if you say that Swiper, you can't praise Kobe's Game 7 versus Boston. Swiper said he doesn't. Almighty Lambo said El Bozos, El FIFA Boy, W gifted. Knicks pack spot.
Shout out Lambo.
Christopher D said Ant, D, Mitch, Booker all in the top 20, 3 of the best shooting guards in the league. Where would you guys rank them? I still got D, Mitch is the best. So I'm gonna just ask you guys one by one. Rank them 1 to 3. Jalen.
Yeah, I got a D, Mitch, and Booker.
Gifted.
And D, Mitch, Booker.
Domo.
And Booker, D. Mitch.
Chill.
D. Mitch, Book, and.
There we go. Gondek said, respect Kyrie. He's going to have an all-time legacy series. Book it. We'll see.
Wait, and real quick, do you mind putting that right back on the chat? I want to make sure that I have the screenshot.
Well, I just cleared it. So
I'm sorry.
Who got two in that series? Who got two? I want to know. Anthony Edwards got
Anton guard Kyrie and Jalen.
He's already said it. Anthony Edwards has said Kyrie is his matchup, and he's looking forward to it. He's already made that clear.
Gondek said Ant vs. John next year. Western Conference Finals is going to be amazing. Can't wait to see what Memphis is going to do.
Oh my God, the Hood Classic.
Oh, I would love to see that series.
Hey,
I would love to see that series though. I would.
Yeah, I want to see what Memphis. I want to see what Memphis is doing next year.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Joe.
Interesting that I feel like Anthony Edwards is bringing the competition back to the game. I feel like he's forcing guys to compete. Like if you're not going to compete, I'm going to embarrass you in front of everybody. You will fight me. And you're going to fight me in front of everybody. Otherwise, I'm going to bust your ass.
Not just him. Everybody on that team, too. Because J-Mac doing that self-bounce dunk attempt.
That would have been
great. God, that would have been the most disrespectful
if he made that,
ever.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that, though. Goes against, like...
It's not just...
whatever, man. Play the game.
I do not care about unwritten rules, man. I do not.
No.
Play the game.
It's not just about Ant doing that to, people he's facing, but the fact that he does it to his teammates, like, Cat, stop fucking fouling, Cat. Stop fouling. Like, I just like that.
Be fouling.
He's very relatable.
He still be fouling.
Very relatable to a lot of people. The way he talks, how he talks is very relatable. I get it.
He that's why people are pushing him as the next face. But Johannes Charles, the known Knicks hater, surely the great aura of MSG carried the Knicks to a win, right? The great arena with a team of decades of winning. Oh wait, wrong timeline.
Wrong timeline is hilarious. That's funny.
Shout out to Johannes Charles. He's very committed to the hate of the Knicks. It's Mr. GQ to you. Pretty sure he's a Nuggets fan. He said KD to the Nuggets for MPJ and Peyton Watson.
You try to throw Peyton Watson in there like that's going to be
I better hope KD.
It's ironic. It's ironic. I ain't seen not one ad from your goofy ass in the Discord when y'all got knocked out the playoffs.
Oh yeah. He been quiet since. He been quiet since.
Real quiet. Niggas ain't at me once. You was at me at 3-4 in the morning. Where you at, Domo? Wanting the goddamn talk? Where you want? You want to talk now? Let's talk.
No, I don't think you want to talk now.
Richmond's NBA talk. This is for you, Gifted. I wouldn't call you a jarhead, but this is for you. He said, "Who did Rudy clamp on the Suns?"
Okay. First off, you squinting in your Abby like you looking at some shit. How about you watch the game with that same intensity? Did you watch at all the Sun series? Rudy Gobert is a team defender. So when Rudy Gobert is in the paint and Booker is coming off the screen, instead of trying to get downhill, he could not. And when he got there, Rudy intimidated the shot so where he would pass out. You saw Rudy Gobert in space guard on Booker and Kevin Durant, and they could not score. We saw with our own eyes. If you disagree, rewatch the game. In fact, I'm super down in the offseason if Player's Choice wants to do this on playback. We can literally go back through the film and watch possession by possession because the possessions don't lie. We saw it. Okay, I literally saw Gobert have that impact defensively, and more than anything, offensively, give you 18 and make his free throws.
Oh no, the offense was ridiculous.
Offense is ass. I'm just saying.
He was terrible in the first half, and then second half he turned into a team. I don't know what
Mars. All I'm saying is the biggest knock on him should be the offense. In fact, it's so much of a knock they forget about his offense and say his defense is ass, and that's not what it is. Because he's not giving you 30 points per game with great defense, they think he's not a good defender, which is stupid.
It's crazy.
Watch the game, please.
David Astillo said the game Randle got injured, the Knicks were up 17 with 4 minutes left, and OG got injured with the Knicks up 10 and only 2 minutes left, alluding to it being Tibbs' fault that these guys are getting hurt because the games are over and he's still in the game. A Derrick Rose type situation. I think also this is about the Pacers. KB said they also have the number 2 best half-court offense in the playoffs. They have been playing against a set defense 80% of the times. So basically, the Pacers are doing this in transition and in the half court better than basically everyone. But now we do kind of have to talk about the OKC Thunder losing. I said we'll be back for a game 7. We was not back for a game 7.
We're not, Mars.
But Pimp Name Slipback, he said, what was Sam Presti's logic at the deadline? They have about 900 draft picks. Why didn't they try and add a legit big? They lack physicality.
I swear me and Mars literally talked about this months ago. Like,
I was trying to get them Lauri Markkinen. I was trying so hard
and Chill, I remember the convo because Chill was like, Lauri, are we sure? Like, yeah, the size, the rebounding.
And no,
they needed that.
No. The difference is who were we talking about at that time when you brought up Lauri? Who do we have to call up? We got to call up Danny Ainge. And what am I going to end up giving up?
But we got the picks. Give it up.
We got the picks, bro.
Danny Ainge, Danny Ainge is known to fleece everyone. He's going to want some players.
Right.
Let us get fleece. That's cool.
I get it. It's just picks.
Like I understand there's going to be a like we
swap what you want, man.
Pacers go all in at the deadline, and now look, they're in the conference finals. It's like, okay, so you could have done it. I was praying.
And then it was Gordon Hayward, who wasn't that great this season to begin with.
Lowry, to me, would have solved a lot of their issues in terms of rebounding. J-Dub gets to play his natural position of the 3.
Actual shooting, the basketball.
You have shooting and game. You can do all of those things. I think is perfect. I've been adamant. I hate the idea of moving Chet to the 4. Chet's a 5. I think Chet's a 5.
I think Chet's a 5, but you got to figure it out.
Is too small out. J-Dub is not a 4. He's 6'5".
He's a 3.
Playing the 4.
He's a 3, really a 2.
That's the problem, in my opinion.
I ain't even mad at that, though, Mo. I ain't even mad at that.
He's not a very good rebounder. I wholeheartedly understand that, and I think he got like.
But his best value is at the 5, regardless.
I understand that. He's still a 5. You just need a 4 who can rebound. They don't need one of these slow-footed bigs who takes away from everything they've built. The way they built their team is about having multiple versatile guys who can drive and kick, who can shoot the ball and do all of those things. You don't get a Valanciunas who takes away from all of that, which is why someone sent a super chat. Let me find it real quick.
Oh, that Valanciunas on OKC.
Your Highness Charles, he said the most money the Knicks can give Hartenstein is 15 million. If you're OKC, you go and give that man 18 million because you need his skill set back.
He's at the top.
Hartenstein is a big.
Hartenstein would be great for OKC.
He's at the top.
Hartenstein is a big. That's a big they can get. Bring him off the bench. He provides great utility for them. But not this. I'm not here for Zach Edey in the draft, and I'm not here for Valanciunas or Capella.
I'm not Valanciunas. No,
we're good on those bigs. But a big like Hartenstein, 100%.
I will say with Sam Presti,
no Andre Drummond either. Mars, you good?
Andre Drummond can be serviceable, but
Drummond can be a backup big in spurts. I can get that. But like these post bigs, nah, we're not going for that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's crazy because literally the reason why they lost the series against OKC is they had lineups where they had Jalen Williams and Chet out there, and their front court couldn't rebound. And literally, the Mavs just scored threes off of every offensive rebound. In that last game, Kyrie hit like 2 threes off of offensive rebound. That's why they lost.
And Jalen Williams is playing too much, and that's why they need a backup. Jalen Williams can give you moments and spurts, but he's playing way too many minutes, and it's just
in defense of Sam
Presti. To be honest with you, Mars, I think he's a 2.
No, I'm talking about the other Jalen Williams.
Okay.
I think he's a 2. J-Dub, I think he's a 2/3.
Yeah.
Playing the 4 is ridiculous. Like he's not a 4.
Playing the 4 is ridiculous. He's not gonna get help out like that.
Out of necessity.
In defense of Sam Presti, I think his logic was you have this kind of young core that you have playing solid, doing great in the Western Conference.
You don't want to miss
Let's give them a run. Yeah, you don't want to add a significant.
I hear that too. I hear that.
I understand.
Now we understand. Yeah, now he realizes
they had no playoff sample size before this. So
and now
I understand.
He understands their flaws. I don't think he's smart enough to realize getting a guy like Markkinen, getting a guy like Hartenstein. He definitely knows those guys will be available to him. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets any of those guys.
And it also
I don't like Claxton on his team though. I don't.
And it also helps too. It doesn't help. It actually speeds up the timeline.
I think he's still kind of small.
It actually speeds up the timeline with the maturation of SGA, because what we can't do now, even though he's only 26 years old, I mean, we can't waste any more of his years. We can't.
He was great.
That. Yeah,
I think he was the best player in the series, in my opinion.
I mean, people are like, we haven't seen it from Shea, so can he translate in the playoffs? Shut up.
Yes.
Man, how could you not? How do you not know he was going to translate?
Chill. I was telling you, Chill.
There's no way you watched. I was telling you, Chill. Like,
I needed to see it. I needed to see it.
He showed it though, right?
I needed to see it, and that conversation is now over. That conversation is not done. I needed to see it in the postseason.
Word up.
Because we've seen guys in the regular season get busy in the regular season, and in the postseason, it goes this way. And I wasn't ready. I was not ready
to
just crown him that way because I needed to see it in the postseason. And this game obviously translates into the postseason.
Everybody's not Joel Embiid, man. Come on.
Oh, okay, buddy.
He clearly
that's true.
Philly in 2025.
Real quick to Brax, because I saw this here. He said you don't like Claxton. Claxton isn't a bad player. I just think the biggest thing that they lack with is size and the rebounding. I think Claxton is more of a switch big who can give you good utility, but overall
he's a switch big because they used him wrong. He's not meant to be a switch big. Brooklyn would just
but do you think you would want him next to Chet as your rebounder though? Like I don't know.
I know next to Chet, he's a backup.
Yeah,
I just don't think. Okay. Yeah, any 5-man I think comes in as a backup. A 4 is what you need to add.
I think he's a 4, Mars. I think he can be real good at the 4. Just a dirty work guy. I love him.
I think you run into the Mobley and Allen problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too. To be honest,
actually, no, we don't, Mars.
But
the reason why we don't,
unless Chet figures out how to shoot in the post.
That's why we don't run into that problem because Chet is now a stretch 5 who can stretch the defense, who can put the basketball on the floor. Allen is very much dependent on you as a lead guard, getting him involved in the game. Chet is.
I think Allen's kind of soft though.
Claxton would be the Allen, and Chet would be the Mobley. That's what it would be.
I think the best name for
get in
them
the gym and speed up his release. That's what he needs. Just get in the gym, speed up. It's too slow.
I think the best name for them that they're not going to get, but I think this is the best player in the NBA to fit on that team that changes everything. If you're telling me they can have Chet and they can have Aaron Gordon at the 4, that's legitimate.
Yeah, if they could get
that is elite. That is elite.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah, D Barber 1313 said Tony Brothers left it all on the court, but my Mavs overcame. Love the irony of Shea losing on a foul. Soon SGA is going to be an Embiid ethical converse. I think.
Oh my God, can we talk about that play, bro? That was such a dumb ass challenge. No. I get that. The coaching challenge to me, like, I don't know how you can defend that because again, what you're saying is I'm gonna put my season in the hands of the referees. Because they have to approve the challenge on something where there's 4 seconds left in the game. You have 1 timeout remaining. So if they strip that from you, all PJ has to do is make 2 free throws and miss the last one on purpose, which is what he did, and it's game over. Like, I wouldn't have challenged that at that point. I would have just ate that timeout.
But I can understand, like, if only PJ lost the ball, because Shea got the ball, but because he didn't lose it, it's not a foul. If he lost the ball any sort of amount, they could have got it overturned. But I get you don't want to use your timeout and then end up having to run the ball full court in 3 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. Or you don't even get the chance to do it because again, PJ makes both free throws and then he misses the final one.
But he's been shooting free throws trash. I don't know why. Sorry.
Can we stop shot? Can
just saying.
And I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit older, so
yeah.
Do we have to challenge everything? God damn, yo, you fouled him. It was a foul. Every time I turn around, Luka. Which, by the way, now we've used all our challenges. So when J-Dub goes to the bucket and loses the ball,
and that was
now you got nothing. Now you got nothing. Now you got nothing.
That's a possession that we could have had. But instead, no challenge. We got to challenge everything. We got to go to the final. Everything. Give me a break.
That's bad. Yeah.
That shit is dumb. I said the same thing watching the Indiana game. I want to say it was a play where they thought there was a goaltend or whatever it was. They called goaltend. I look, Reese immediately. No. I'm like, bro, just shut up and play ball, man. Just go. It's 2 points.
Let it happen.
15. Especially if it's 13. Just keep playing.
Especially if it's like the first quarter. It's like a 6-point game, 5-point game. You don't challenge something that serious in the first quarter. And it's a game. You just don't. You let it.
I just feel like if you in the fourth quarter and there's 4 seconds left and it looks like you fouled them and you're relying on the NBA refereeing to go your way and give you the ball, that's not a good plan. I would rather just eat that, call timeout, try to get a good shot. Yeah.
I know OKC are very good at drawing up plays too. So like
they're good at that. So it's like, why would you?
Yeah, you don't want to lose.
And I'm giving the team an extra timeout. Basically, what I'm doing.
That's tough. But Pimp Name Slipback said, has Danny Ainge really fleeced? Those T-Wolves picks won't be that amazing. Neither will the Cavs. Other than the Nets, who has Ainge fleeced?
Well, like I think regardless of that though, like you can't bank on how it looks now. In the moment, you traded Donovan Mitchell and Gobert for a ridiculous amount of picks. And more importantly, that was the best value you could have got for those players. Like, no one thought that you would get that many picks for Rudy Gobert. Nobody thought that. And you got all of those assets back. So to me, it's like, that is a fleece. They still overpaid to get Rudy Gobert. Now, it can work out for them and they can win. That's great. But they still overpaid.
Plus, it depends on who they end up drafting with those picks. They draft guys
That
who
too.
are borderline all-stars, great role players. If they do right with those picks, he absolutely fleeced with them. Now, if you go out there and pick a
100%.
bunch of Anthony Bennett's,
Then you sold.
it just fleeced.
Yeah.
You sold
Yeah,
the fleece.
he's got to do his job and actually make the right draft.
Who did he fleece? Was I not around when he pried Kyrie Irving away from the Cavs for
Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder?
Isaiah Thomas fleece.
Oh yeah, that was good. And Isaiah wasn't even healthy yet.
Let me go check these dudes' temperature and see how they feel about.
And that was a
Kyrie
fleece
Irving.
crazy.
Are you kidding me?
that
I'm
was
pretty
crazy.
sure that happened when I was around.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it did.
Duke Baylock said the Mavs winning this series just proved how SGA was the MVP all along.
I mean,
I
because
gotta
of
be
the value to the
honest.
team, I see the argument, but no.
I think there was an argument for Shea to win the MVP, but I think the same can be said for Jokic. I really don't like using what happens in the playoffs as a barometer for why they should have won a regular season award. But Shea played at a high level the entire season. And to be fair, OKC's role players were a lot better in the regular season than they were in this overall playoff series. You know,
Did you guys see Denver's offense with Jokic off the floor? I don't know.
It was dog shit.
100%.
I wasn't good.
Yeah. You see Philly when Embiid was off the floor.
Bad team
Yeah,
for the most part. Yeah.
Jalen Brunson
Good
on
point,
the Knicks
Mark.
taking off the spot.
That's why we're gonna win next year and Embiid gonna play with 48. Someone random said, not gonna lie, I wanted the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. He's a Dallas fan. The Wolves scare me more, but I think we have a good chance. Our offense is harder to stop than the Nuggets. We're gonna do predictions tomorrow. I hope I'm not hosting tomorrow, but I assume we'll do predictions tomorrow. So we kind of just talking about the games and what happens, and then tomorrow we'll do predictions because there's no games on tonight, so it just makes more sense to do predictions.
They got me out here.
Finally,
I got to bet on
finally, I get a rest day, bro.
Yeah,
Good
finally
Lord.
a day. I've been staying up till like
basketball every
7
day.
a.m.
Yeah.
having to watch these games. Right? It's
People
long as hell.
send me the WNBA props. There's no NBA to bet on today, so I'm betting on WNBA props.
He and I did.
By the way, sidebar, I've had so much fun watching W basketball. They're playing good basketball, man.
And you know, anybody that does not think that Caitlin Clark is going to be a baller, you ain't watching. She's going to be a baller.
She's going to be nice.
Yes,
she's going to be nice. Like, bro, her version of struggling is still giving you 20.
Like, no, but if the FIFA don't win more games than they did last year, then she's a bum. But,
yeah.
But it's also like the defense she's seeing. The other team is like, oh, you guys think she's her? Let me show you that she ain't all that. Like, they're playing defense on her. Like, I don't see them playing defense.
But see, I love that. I love that, though.
I do.
Welcome to the league. Like,
that's fact,
bro,
that's fact. But she get an extra.
They're going to make a monster when she get used to it. You know?
Yeah. You're watching a lot of the W. I'm out there watching the M as an MLB.
Oh, okay.
Baseball season.
Oh, you got that. You got that. I respect you. I respect you a lot, though.
Oh, I'm a Yankee fan, but I treat baseball how I treat I treat baseball how I treat football, really, because I'm a casual.
Yeah.
I like so many players, so it's like
I feel that.
The Yankees are cooking this year, though. The Yankees are on a run.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Juan Soto.
Oh, we. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. I've been a Yankee fan since I was a kid, but yeah, it's a lot of good players out there, man.
Oh, yeah, Cameron Brink is like that, by the way. She's very good at basketball.
Cameron Brink is like that.
A great defense.
Ox was right. Interesting.
Bro, she was clamping Asia Wilson, no cap.
Anyone could do that.
Cameron Brink is hooping on the court and off the court. She is.
I don't know about that, Mars.
Shout out Cameron Brink. Beautiful tall glass of milk, as they say.
Okay. Boog sent a super chat. He said it was a $10 super chat. Not much I can add. So questioning my knowledge of the game is crazy. I can't remember what Boog's initial super chat was. So I apologize.
I don't know
what he said. But we apparently questioned his knowledge. So my bad. Tank Jones said W host Mars. Thank you. Congrats, Mavs. We will be back. Facts. OKC will be back. And then now we've got a couple members. Rob, Philip Redford, and Timmingham all became members. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out Timmingham.
Yeah, shout out to Timmingham. And then now we've got the $2 super chats that I'm gonna get to. Look at me, we have time to spare. Brax, what's Allen Iverson got to do with that video swiper? Facts. I don't know why he was blaming AI. I don't know why he was blaming AI.
I don't know why he blaming AI for that.
It's crazy. AI just going to the finals, minding his business, and then
that's what I'm saying. Let AI chill, bro.
Like I said, Damo, I wasn't there, so I can't say with 100% certainty. But man, that sure do look like you.
Really do look like you.
I don't know how you're gonna say it's not him. That's crazy.
How can you deny that?
So Quay White, he's coming for you, Dom. He said the Haliban blew up NYC. You about to?
Oh God! I just realized the point of Haliban.
I told J-Rob that Friday, man. Hey, if the Haliban pushes to 7,
how did I just realize what you meant by Haliban? That's crazy. Oh my God!
Ronaldo said Becky Hammond won. LOL.
The Jalen Brunson struggle.
Very
Nah, that's it.
interesting
That is facts.
circumstances.
That is facts.
Very interesting circumstances.
Now
but
she's right. The winning bias makes her right now.
technically, they didn't win with Jalen Brunson. So
Technically, yeah.
Greatest said the Knicks are 12-2 with Randle and OG. Julius will remain a Knick. I think
He's a solid number 2. He's a solid number 2.
Or
Man, his
number
ass
one,
gonna get
depends on who
traded.
you talk to.
I think.
Luka vs. Tatum in the finals will put an end to all narratives if we get Boston and Dallas.
Boston
No, it would not.
Boston
No,
are
it would not.
destroying Dallas in that
Yes.
series. Just so you know.
But
It would
Luka's still
literally
the best
accelerate narratives more than anything else, bro. It
Yeah, but
would not put an end to the
Boston are destroying Dallas in that series. Just so we know.
Yeah.
Pimp named Slickback said Ant is easily better than Donovan Mitchell. Well,
Easily?
everyone's
Crazy.
I don't know
everyone's
about
list
easily,
better.
but I do think he's better. I don't know if it's easily though.
I'm fine if you think he's better, but easily is just crazy.
Easily is a little.
KB said Domo, we up 1,000 Eastern Conference Finals bound, baby.
That's a fact, man. Up 3,000.
Well, I feel like the Pacers are about to get run off the floor against Boston.
We'll see. We'll do predictions tomorrow. Maybe they will.
Hate now, cry later when I'm right.
Okay, that one, little 200 piece. I got.
Still trying to make your money back. 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 Still trying to make your money back.
I got to.
Your Highness Charles said the entire Knicks fan base is front runners like.
Damn, he really don't like the Knicks. Damn.
So, then he said, "Ain't no way the Knicks losing an MSG Game 7." Quoting show.
Oh wow.
I did say that. Yes, I did.
Leaf Diggy said Rudy promised a championship for the Wolves.
And you promised me the Suns to get out the first round, Leaf.
Your Highness Charles said Hart averaged 41 minutes post All-Star break, so like post the Randle injuries and stuff. His minutes went up. Yep. Mike said Ant will surpass Tatum this postseason. That's definitely going to be a conversation.
Definitely
not. Someone random said, "Is it me or home court means nothing in today's NBA?" What's you guys?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Home court definitely matters.
I wouldn't say
that. I never really
Home court definitely matters.
I just never was.
This was
I always felt like if I'm better than you, I can. It don't make a difference where we at. If I'm better than you, I'll whoop you anyway. If you better than
the only
me,
problem is like
anywhere. Don't make a difference.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that's your mindset. The entire team, individual players are not going to have that mindset. That's why role players often play better at home because they're getting like boosted, right? Like there are some players that need to have like, okay, I got people who are here. Some people don't feel that way, Joe. That's why.
Domo, real quick. Domo, we got a reply from Mr. GQ to you. He said, "I know a North Carolina living Laker, Oregon Ducks, Miami Dolphin fan, scared to hold AD accountable guy, ain't talking."
First of all, Oregon Ducks, buddy, get it right. I am a UNC Tar Heel College fan. Get it right. Represent the home team. What?
Duke clears.
The only time you do it, but I guess. Okay.
Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Someone random said the irony is Luka got hit twice on that drive. If they call that OKC is in a much better place, I may be biased, but for me, the whistle favored OKC by a lot. I think the whistle was favorable to OKC in Game 6. I wouldn't argue with that. Gifted, you had OKC in 5? What happened?
I did. Yeah.
Me
I'm
too.
glad to tell you. I had OKC in 5 because they were the better roster. There was no Maxi Kleber that was present, and I did not think that PJ Washington would shoot 48% from 3 on 8.8 attempts and be their secondary scorer for the majority of the series. So that's why.
Now I have OKC in 2025 instead. So
yeah, I have no problem with saying I had OKC in 5. I will stand on that. If you want to say that you expected PJ to be their secondary leading scorer, if you expected Kyrie to struggle the way that he did and Luka to only play at his level for 2 games, then fine. But I definitely thought OKC was a better team.
Dallas to win that series with Kyrie playing the way
impressive.
Luka struck to 100%.
Very impressive.
Dallas are a good team. I said.
Yeah, wait. Do Dallas play lineups with Gafford and Lively together against Minnesota?
No. Ooh, against Minnesota?
Yeah, I was gonna say against Minnesota.
No.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Because what Cap will do is PJ will be on Cap.
Okay.
Massive W Domo, Yankees all day. Shout out to Pimp Name Slipback.
Facts.
And then he said, "What about trading Josh Giddey for Dorian Finney-Smith?" I don't know why the Nets would do this. They have Ben Simmons. They have their own Josh Giddey.
Ben Simmons not gonna be there for long.
Giddey's value was in the trade market.
Ben Simmons would not be there for long. I don't think.
Shit. And I think the Nets are trying to win, so I don't think Josh Giddey's really helping them in that department. Big said, "Gifted, can you let somebody else talk?"
Oh, my fault, OG.
Yeah, lock in, man. And then modest review with the final super chat. He said, "AE reaches playing this way is an over 0-1 Kobe."
Anthony Edwards. Oh, is Anthony Edwards over 2001 Kobe?
The language is a little.
Yeah.
See, this is where this is when stuff gets
The answer is no.
Gotta put the hands out. Gotta put the hands out.
Take a time out, guys.
The answer is no, but also shout out to me finishing the super chats. The show ends right on time. I appreciate Jalen, Gifted, Chill, Swiper, Domo for coming up today. We will talk about predictions for the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow. I don't know who's going to be here tomorrow. I know Ticket's going to be here tomorrow. So prepare for a lot of Jokic slander tomorrow. Prepare for a lot of it. A lot of Nas Reed praise. A lot of why the Pacers are going to beat the Celtics, and then when they lose, he's going to be like, "Oh well, Mathurin was hurt." So just prepare for a lot of that. But thank you guys for watching. Shout out to, we had 2,600 people in here.
Shout out to y'all, man.
2,000 throughout. Numbers were looking good with me.
We clearly know what we're doing around here.
Make sure to follow the page. Shout out to Mars for being a great host today. Also tap in the other Players' Choice shows. Me and Jalen do a show called From the Logo. Also, make sure to follow the playback for live playoff watches and maybe post game looks. So all that. Also, one thing I didn't do. Get your merch. We do. Get your merch. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't do. Make sure to go grab some PC merch. And on playback today, PC football. So go watch that if you're interested in the NFL. But thank you guys for watching.
My man came through. I forgot to tell him, yo, Damo, pass that, please. I had a half hour.
You forgot to tell him? That's crazy.
Damo, pass that, brother.
You know I will, Chill. Come on, man.
Trying to get right. Trying to get correct.